Sure, yes. Don't play H3. Okay. So now the hard part is remembering what game
Which ones we've looked at.
exactly we didn't look at. Yeah.
That's maybe why it's important to have them labeled and go in order, but it's part of the fun.
Yeah,
So
I know.
let's just figure it out together. It's gonna be like a mystery.
Well, there's two that we didn't do that I'm sure of.
Okay. So that helps. Also,
Yes.
I can try the stream together to share the chats.
Oh, yes. Thank you. I almost forgot.
Okay, I think I just knocked.
Mm, I accepted, but I didn't get the like pop out.
Maybe I should just cancel and then you request for me.
Okay.
Dude, that's so weird.
What?
Sorry, Joe, she opened up your stream and I got tripped out. The picture that you have behind you, is that Horseshoe Bend?
It is.
My dad had that picture in his office growing up. What, like when I was growing up, he had that picture in his office. I saw that picture every day, like the exact same one. That's really
How
weird.
do I knock?
You just go to my
Um,
channel and then it should be there
I don't know.
somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's funny. I
Oh, I
I
see.
didn't get this picture myself. It was just in the room when I moved in. I haven't swapped it out.
What?
Oh wait,
That's not it.
now you press it. There we go. Sorry,
Okay.
technical. It should be good.
Okay. And then do we automatically have a shared chat? No, I have to ask, right?
Yeah, it's on that screen.
Authorize. Okay. Okay. It's finally working. We can get to work. Uh-oh. I can't hear you.
It's because I'm not saying anything.
Oh, okay.
It's usually a thing. Wait, so Joe, are you playing competitive chess anymore?
Um, well, I guess it's subjective,
Like,
but
well, explain it to
no,
me.
I'll be playing in Vegas in June. I signed up for the National Open, and I'll be playing in Charlotte in July for the Naroditsky Memorial. So, as competitive as those tournaments are, that's I guess what I'm still doing.
I mean, the Vegas one is one of the most competitive in the country now, or
It's the National Open, but like there's multiple sections, so I'm not gonna be playing in the open section. I'll be in the under 2100, I think.
oh, still sick. And do you gamble?
Yeah, I like to play poker. I've played a little bit with Sabrina online. She's pretty good.
Really?
We played a free roll once, like 8 moons ago.
Many moons
That's
ago.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's pretty sick.
And then I got out of I busted out like pretty quickly.
It happens.
It was
But
still fun though.
I've been playing a bit more online poker. I mean, I've played in person a few times since then, but nothing too serious. It's just pretty casual.
Dude, I feel like in-person poker, like playing at a tournament is scary, or at a place.
Actually talking about that last time we were reviewing my games, and Joe recently went to play IRL poker at the casino.
Wow, pretty sick.
So, quick question. Is the classroom from last time still open or like floating around somewhere, or do we have to make another one?
Um, I'll just make a new one and it should be pretty easy to load in the games. I should have them all.
Okay.
All right, let me send you an invite.
Okay.
Cool. And let's figure out which games
No.
No.
we need to look at
Yeah, yeah,
still. Okay.
Okay.
So we have a Vienna Gambit classic.
We saw this one.
Yeah. Yeah, we did.
Where we were discussing the bishop situation.
Okay, yeah, this is a really nice one. Let's look at the next game. We've got Dude versus Sabrina. I have a feeling we've seen this, perhaps. A French.
There's 3 Dude versus Sabrina.
All right, so we have a French.
Yes, and then I played bishop c5. Yeah, we saw this one too.
This was you blundered and then you came back, right? Yeah, strong pawns in the center.
I came back. I don't remember if I got the draw here. I have kind of.
I'm pretty sure you won this. Or no, it was a draw. Yeah, so here he messed up by trading, and then it's just a draw. Yeah. So nice hold there. Let's look at game 3. So
on, bro.
this is the Joko piano. This is like the position you're like, you don't feel very confident in this, right?
Yeah, and I actually encountered another Italian and felt the same way
Okay.
later on. Not
Yeah.
over the board, but
Yeah, here I mentioned like bishop e3, I think will help you out a lot.
I remember that.
I also talked a little bit about like h3 and a3, but yeah, here this is just kind of a rough position to be in. So, and then here there was like a point where you needed like one move. It was like, I think here's like king h1.
It was
you need
king
to play.
h1.
Yeah. Because when you trade, you give them the h file and you also give them a free tempo on your bishop, so it's kind of like wasting a move. And then
And
yeah,
there's
this was
right
this was
here.
tough. You had to like really be active, and they're basically just doubling on the h file, and they're gonna play f3, bishop to g2, and they're just crashing through. So this was a tough spot, and we had like some really random perpetual possibility, but I would say that the main problem in this game was like bishop d2 and
Oh my
allowing-
gosh, Joe Cozy, thank you so much for the raid.
Whoa,
huge raid. Now there's 4 Joes. Wait,
Yay.
that's 3. We need a 4th Joe. What's up, Eskia?
Dude, we should do a Joe chess stream, 4-player Joe chess.
No, but then I'm not invited.
No,
well,
you could
yeah,
be
you
the
have to be
4th
named
Joe.
Wait,
Yeah.
but how am I the 4th Joe? I'm not Joe.
We can make him an honorary
I'm
Joe.
Sabrina. Honorary Joe. Honorary Joe. Okay.
But yes, huge shout out to Joe Cozy. I was watching her stream.
Shout out Joe Cozy. Thank you so much.
Also, I was watching you guys play pool. Who won?
He won best 2 out of 3, but I have to say, I had the last shot. Like I was dominating in pool the 3rd game, and then I got the 8 ball in the wrong pocket.
Oh no. Yeah, from what I
It was
saw, it
actually
looks like
pretty
you were
tragic.
cooking.
I was cooking, and that was the sad thing. Like it was mine, and then it wasn't in a second.
You gave it to him. A gift.
Yeah,
She felt like being Joe.
I was farming content. That's what.
True.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the 4th game. I have a feeling this is new. You think?
Yeah,
this-
I have a
alright.
feeling this was the first game I ever played in this tournament.
Game 1. All right, so you've got the black pieces. You're up against a fianchetto here. They play e4, and you play e5. So you're preventing them from playing e5. They take, you
Yes.
take. They play here. Here you play bishop to f6. My first gut instinct is just play f6, to be honest.
Yeah.
Although people like
Why-
to say
why is
not
that?
to do that. We're just defending the like this is a clear threat on the pawn. It's defended once, so you need a second defender, and you go with the bishop here.
But if you played f6 there, sorry to interrupt. If you played f6 there, would you still aim to castle kingside? Like sometime
Yeah,
after that?
yeah,
Or
I
at
think
that
so.
point?
That's a good question. I do think so, and I think that maybe the bishop wants to go to e6, and we can put the king
Yeah.
on h8, and at some point, eventually, maybe we'll double with behind the bishop, and we'll try to go for this bishop trade.
Mm.
Okay. You don't want them to have that strong fianchettoed bishop. That's why you do that.
Yeah.
I've seen that like in the Queen's Gambit and stuff.
Almost every time they fianchetto, I always try to set up this battery and try to trade bishops. It's just like a habit of mine. Because this bishop is a really important defender, and so we try to trade off our bishop for theirs. If we go to bishop e6 now, well, if ignoring the free pawn, but like there's a lot of times where they'll play knight to g5, which is really annoying because it hits the bishop and it also guards against bishop h3. Pinning is also
But can't you easily kick it out with h6 if they put the knight there?
well, if we put the bishop on e6 and they play knight here, then we'd have to move our bishop again, which is annoying. Unless we are okay with like I'm saying this. We can't just play h6 because
But
they'll just
it's
take.
free.
Okay, that's also a fair point. This pawn's also free, but
Yeah, true.
okay. Let's just I don't have any concrete reason why bishop to f6 would be a bad move. Maybe this pawn is pinned now, but I don't really see how they would take advantage of it. Maybe there's a crazy idea that they would sacrifice and then play f4. I'm not sure. But all right. So they pile up now with the second knight. Maybe this is the reason why. Because now it's a little harder to defend. Maybe you go queen here. Okay, you pin their knight, which makes sense. Now they immediately question with h3. Yeah, if you go back, they're just gonna push g4, right?
Yeah,
And
I
then they're
don't
probably
think I
winning a
went
pawn.
back.
Yeah, you're forcing yourself
okay, I
basically to
traded.
trade. I don't know why a computer gives this a mess because this is pretty much exactly what I would do.
Yeah.
Maybe there's this crazy line with b5.
And could it
Interesting.
let you develop the queen there? Because if bishop takes, I'm seeing bishop takes knight, bishop takes bishop. You could. Oh, I didn't even see what takes with the queen. Never mind then. Silly me.
Yeah,
Because I was thinking if you took back with the bishop, then you pushed your queen up to what was that, d7. Then he would have to move his bishop back. But I did not see that the queen could take back.
yeah, queen takes develops the piece with a tempo. So now you have the problem with the knight here. So you just come back, they go back, which is kind of a weird move. Maybe they're worried about this, but okay, castles now. So you're kind of through the worst of it, which is good.
Yeah.
Wow, they give that up, which is probably pretty bad for them, to be honest. I mean,
I
we get
happily take. I think because they wanted the pawn on
okay,
e5.
yeah, they win
Yeah.
material, they ruin your structure. They get a
Pretty
tempo on
good, I would say.
c6. But yeah, look at these light squares. So it's not clear that you could take advantage of it though. So okay, here gets them in an accuracy.
Your tactic now with like knight take or bishop takes knight on e5 and then never mind. There is not.
Yeah,
I lied.
it's close.
Almost something.
Maybe
I mean, I think if you take bishop takes knight, then you could eventually undouble your pawns. No.
That's if they take with the queen, which I think is what happened actually.
I mean, if they don't take with the queens.
so. Here I'm
Then you just
thinking
wanna-
maybe you just play rook e8. Just pile up on the knight, maybe. So that's exactly what you did, which I like.
Oh, okay. Cool.
takes. Now you can straighten out your pawns, like Joe was talking about.
Mhm.
So this is helpful.
Yeah.
And now this knight's pinned. They could go back.
Yeah.
What else is there? They can also just defend the knight with like the pawn or the bishop.
Mhm.
Probably with the bishop's bad because you have g5.
Mhm.
But okay, so they do go for that. So what's the idea? If we go g5, I'm wondering if they have this like annoying knight g4 move maybe.
Yeah, I don't remember. I think I might have thought about G5 and then seen them
96
go
is kind
back
of annoying.
to knight G4 and then like what can I do?
Yeah.
I lose a
Yeah.
pawn.
You'd
Or
have
maybe
to bring the bishop back
yeah.
to keep defense on the G pawn, but yeah, G5 is kind of we don't really want to do that unless like, it's very clearly winning, which it's a little complicated.
Mhm.
G5 if knight G4, there's also bishop takes B2 maybe. Um
Yeah, that's true.
so that actually might be good. Actually, they would probably trade rooks and then play
Mhm.
rook here, and then you can either take or you can bring the bishop back somewhere. Oh, probably you don't want to bring the bishop back because then you're losing that pawn for nothing, but okay. Let's see what you did. You went here. Yeah, I was thinking knight e6 is also a really nice idea. Just attacking the bishop.
Mhm. Yeah.
But okay, you're maybe looking at knight d4. There's an active square, right? You're thinking about this fork, you're thinking about this fork. I
Yeah,
guess
I did want to just reroute it somewhere useful.
the downside is they just play c3, I guess.
Yeah.
But maybe you play d4 and then they kick the knight out and then you go here, I
Mhm.
guess. Okay, you're looking to double. Okay, you come back here. Now they go knight g4. So
And then
that's
this is just messy.
yeah, right. There's a lot of stuff that's under attack now. This move is attacking three things, which is pretty cool. Kind of annoying for us for sure. Not easy to get out of this. It seems like we have to just maybe double our rooks here.
It's the move that I was looking at.
Well, how can I double if I double right now and they take on the knight on C7,
You win the rooks.
I can't. Oh, I see what you
Yeah,
mean.
we're creating a threat here when we double. We're threatening to just take twice on e1. So if they take the knight, I see what you're saying. We can't take back because then we get back rank mated, which is not good. But
Wow,
if they
can't believe I
take,
didn't see that.
we go forward and we win their rook for our knight. The downside of I think all these options, we're gonna have to deal with a weak king side structure. So that's kind of like the problem with rook e7 is we're blocking our bishop.
Yeah.
So I think maybe a better move is rook e6
Mhm.
because it's just more lifted. We have more range for our rook. And it's also protected by the pawn, and it's also on a light square. So it's a lot harder for white's pieces to get to us. So when you go rook here, you're blocking the bishop, and you're also creating a dependency where the rook is only defended by the bishop. So that leaves you
Yeah.
with, vulnerabilities. Whereas rook e6 is defended by the pawn, so you don't have to worry so much for tactics. So rook here, there's ideas like they could attack it directly with the knight. They could maybe attack it with the bishop. So I know like the rook is defending the knight here, but also if you went maybe rook e6 and they did the same idea, maybe you now can go to d6. But yeah, I'm worried that we're putting ourselves into like an area where we're getting tactics on us. So this is a great move by them. It gives an inaccuracy, which is funny. There's
Yeah, why?
probably maybe there's something stronger. I don't know.
Okay.
Um, but but yeah, like I said, this is just attacking three things at once. So there's not a lot of great moves for you. I think maybe you trade and play 96, or maybe you just play 96 immediately. But
Yeah.
there's nothing I can see that can prevent them from taking with check and damage our pawn structures. Like I don't I don't really see a good way out of this, to be honest.
Definitely not. That's definitely why I should have considered more to double the rooks instead of trading, because
Okay. So yeah, I think doubling is fine, but let's see. Um yeah, also like the 96 consideration
hmm
might be good immediately because then we're not
that's
helping.
interesting.
Yeah. Uh and we just keep an extra rook on the board. Okay, so here they're going after the pawn, which doesn't make sense because it's defended. Here they're trying to just lodge the knight and win this pawn, but they
Uh-huh.
forget that first off, this is taking away squares from the bishop. So the bishop is really short on squares actually. Um,
Yeah.
so here and this is like their only square. And now you go here and now the bishop's actually trapped.
Yes.
They have to play e5 to create a counterattack. So they really didn't. Well, the thing is, I guess your knight's gonna be pinned, so they could play f5 later, I guess. So takes, and now they've really messed up because they didn't play f5 twice in a row now. So now you
hmm
can just keep the extra piece, which is great for you. So you can either move the rook out of the way, or you can play f5
Yeah.
yourself. So you do that. Now they have to save their pawn, or they
hmm
just resign, I guess. Which is,
Uh,
I mean, some.
so you're gonna be really
Oh,
disappointed.
you guys agree to a draw?
Yeah.
I mean, that,
I don't know what I was thinking,
I could guess what you're
but
thinking. If you're down on time, maybe.
no, I wasn't down on time.
These
I'm
pawns are
wondering if,
bad. This is a connected pass pawn. I don't know.
yeah, maybe that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Um,
One of those instances where he was probably extending like a draw just to see if I would take it, and I did.
you offered the draw?
No, 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 he did.
He offered and then you accepted. Okay. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
like I'm not disappointed in I mean, I would advise you to play this on for sure. Like you're up a piece. I like to
Yeah.
think like if I lose a game where, my opponent offered me a draw or, that I was winning or felt like I was better in, that to me is just gained experience. Like, okay,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
for me it's just I rather like play chess than not play chess.
Yeah.
And also for me, like I don't care too much about losing. I don't really care too much about like my elo or my rating or anything. So it also
hmm
that sort of helps me. So um but yeah, I mean like I get it. A lot of people really care a lot about, winning or losing or their rating. Like that makes sense. So and also there's so many other factors like your mental state, like how sharp are you?
Yeah.
Are you feeling out of it? Are you feeling sick? Are you feeling well rested? Are you really tired? Or, is it the last game of a tournament and you need a norm and a draw secures that? Like, there's other, like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's you or whatever. Like, that's probably not going to be the case for me ever either, to be honest. But, um, yeah, some people are like, yeah, I just wasn't feeling it. And I'm like, you don't have to justify like the result of a game to me. Like, it's fine. So yeah, I took a draw at a game once because my car had a flat tire and it was at the shop and the shop was closing and I had to go get my car before it closed. I still played the
Okay.
game. It was against like an 8-year-old girl, and I offered her a draw. Like it was a drawn position, and then she declined it, and then we like repeated a couple moves,
Yeah.
and then she like avoided the repetition, and then there was another repetition, and I again offered a draw. It was like we did that like 3 times, and then she
Yeah.
finally accepted it. Um, the shop ended up closing. I was late, but they left the keys like hidden on the car, and I got pretty
Oh,
lucky.
okay.
Um, anyways, that was like 2019.
That's a funny story.
Yeah, there's a much longer version to it. It's kind of fun, but no, there's so many reasons that can be valid to accept a draw early or whatever. Like, you know, you're
Right.
playing chess ultimately at the end of the day for yourself. So it's like whatever you want to do is fine. So and don't let anyone feel make you feel bad about anything. You don't have to
Yeah.
justify your actions. But that being said, as like a chess coach, I would definitely be like, just play on. In worst case scenario, you lose, right?
Yeah.
But
True.
the idea is that you will have gained experience to make you a better chess player in the future. And that I think is a really important priority. Like the whole point of, being here for me is to like give you advice and hopefully make you a better chess player. So
Hmm.
I think a large misconception out there is that people equate the results of a game with like how good you are.
Hmm.
You could lose a game on time, but you're like completely crushing the whole time. Like I would say that's a much
That
better
happens a lot.
indicator of like your chess skill, right? Than the results of the game. So
Yeah, but part of being a strong player is managing time well. So I would argue like not if
that's
if I'm crushing and I use way more time, then it's not
that's
bad.
that's very true. Like at the end of the day, the results are all that matters for your rating, right? And a rating is what we've decided is to be used to determine your strength, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you could be winning every game, but if you lose at the end of the day, then you're just losing chess games. So
Right.
at some point, there's a switch. I think that like when you're trying to improve and you're going through this journey, this process of like being a chess improver, whatever that means, I would
Yeah.
say at the early stages, at least, or up until a certain point, definitely I like to prioritize like the position over like the result. So like, if we're talking about flagging on time, I don't worry too much about that. I like to worry about like how you played the game rather than the results of the game. But
Right.
at the end of the day, at some point, eventually, there's a flip, right? Where it's like, okay, ultimately, like, did you win or lose? Because that's the result, and that's what's going to determine your rating. And the rating is the measurement of your skill. So it's like at some day you're going to have to see results, and you're going to have to win by any means necessary, and that means, potentially flagging people, right? Or not flagging yourself, obviously. But yeah, as for like this point, I definitely would have liked to see the end game played out. Um,
Yeah.
and that's just the advice, I guess. So it's not about being disappointed or anything. It's just about like my generic chess advice. If you're up a piece, you should just play it out to the end. Um,
Right.
because that's really going to help you like get confidence in your end game, or it's going to help you with like the experience, right? Like, okay, I know what I need to do, right? I need to try to win these pawns with the extra piece. But that being said, like there's definitely some reason why like white would have compensation here. Definitely
Yeah.
like this pawn is strong. This pawn structure is pretty bad for you.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it would have been interesting to see the rest of this game played out.
Definitely. I regretted it a bit, but also, like you said, you know, all I can do is kind of learn from it and have more confidence later on to play it through.
Yeah. Also, you said this was the first game, right?
Yeah, that's probably has something to do with it too.
Is it 2 games a day?
I took a bye the first round day, so yeah, I was playing 2 games a day.
Okay. Um, yeah, there's a lot of factors and variables, and you don't have to justify, like I said. So it's fine. But yeah, I liked that you trapped the bishop, and
Mm-hmm.
I thought this move was clever because I thought they needed to play f5 right away. I guess
Mm-hmm.
anytime they play f5, you have this knight g5 sort of like intermezzo.
Yes, the fork situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that being said, it's still like they can defend it. So push, probably your best move is to just take. Push, and if you
Yeah.
go
Okay.
here, they could just like bring their king up or something. And like now their bishop's defended.
Right.
So yeah, I thought this was a move that they were trying to be tricky, where it takes now they play f5. Um, but
Yeah.
they messed that up. So yeah, you save the rook here, and you're definitely for choice. But maybe there's some fight left that white can
Yeah.
try to take advantage of the pawns. But definitely the knight is gonna be doing a lot of the heavy lifting in this position. Well, you're gonna first infiltrate with the rook. You're gonna try to get behind the pawns, basically. I'd also
Yeah.
advocate for something like f5. I think is probably a good move. The downside of f5, you let rook e5 in, and then you're losing one of these pawns.
Mm-hmm. So
um,
then maybe not.
yeah, I'm not sure.
Why not just move the knight here?
You would go backwards somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would wait for f5 and then cuz going backwards you have these 3 options. From here I'm not
Yeah.
entirely sure like what your plan would be.
Well, no,
So,
if they went f5, knight g5 is a beautiful move for me. Like it's
yeah,
just good
yeah,
on so many
exactly. You're hitting
levels.
everything. So that's why I would wait for f5. I wouldn't move the knight now.
Yeah.
I would
Okay.
I would keep the knight here, and I would force them to weaken g5. If they want the knight to go, they're gonna have to give up g5 for my knight.
Right.
So something smart they might do is like h4 first, then f5, but that's gonna cost them a move, right? So instead of moving the knight now, we can move our rook and get behind the pawns,
Mm-hmm.
and try to start picking these off. If you can get the c pawn, then the d pawn becomes weak. Then the other c pawn becomes weak too.
How about if I did rook b3 here
Uh huh.
instead of trying to get behind them? Would it be worth it to, like, let's say I did rook b3, they play rook c1 to
Uh huh.
protect? Would the knight sack on d4 be worth it?
I would seriously say no.
They're just gonna get a passer there.
Yeah,
That's
that's
what I was
true.
analyzing right now.
It wouldn't
It's
work.
just they're gonna be able to promote.
Yeah,
Because
definitely
their
not.
rook is perfectly placed behind the c pawn,
Yeah.
right? So you're thinking maybe
Well,
you
so
get that
then,
with check, right? But yeah.
yeah, but so what do you do? Like, let's say I played rook b2, tried to get behind. What do you do in this scenario where like they immediately just move their rook behind the pawn? How do
So
I
if you
protect?
play here and they go here,
Mhm.
so the whole
Yeah.
point of having the extra piece is you want to use it and coordinate it with the rook basically. So maybe they're defending this pawn, but like their king is cut off. You can bring the idea is if they're gonna go really passive, you have like basically all the time in the world to put your pieces wherever you want them. So you could start with f5 and bring the king in like this. You could bring the king over. Like my only concern is if you start moving the knight around now, like this, your rook has to make sure the pawn never gets here, and your knight has to make
Yeah.
sure that the pawn isn't like promoting. So maybe the king is best put here, right?
Yeah.
Anytime this rook moves, you can go here. right? Um,
Yeah.
and anytime this pawn moves, you go here. So like whenever you have an extra piece, especially like in an end game, at some point, if you have your opponent's pieces tied down, right? The king is cut off, the rook is babysitting a pawn. You have an
Hmm.
extra piece to play with. You basically have two extra pieces to play with. You have a ton of time and space to really just come up with a plan and figure out like how you're going to win this game. So if they only have one defender and you have two pieces and the king, you eventually will coordinate. Like there was the other game where you just won a single pawn and then you had like your rook and your knight come in and you just won all the other pawns and then you just had pass pawns to win. It's the same game plan basically.
Right.
The only caveat here is that they have this connected pass pawn. That's their only advantage really. So that's why I'm advocating for bringing the king over. We're just neutralizing their one source of counterplay, and then from there, we can do whatever we want. It sounds really simple to say it like that, but like yeah, this move is just super passive, and like their king is cut off, so it's like these two pieces are not playing at all. Our rook's really active. Our knight, is the difference maker in this position. So maybe right now he doesn't have to move. Um, but my
Would I
first
have
plan
to watch
is
out for c4?
c4. They can't play it too soon because then the d pawn is really weak. In fact, takes we take immediately. We're threatening a fork, right?
Right.
Um, maybe they get two pawns, but if we win the rook, then it's really cooked. Um,
Hmm.
so maybe they move the king first or something. Then they play here.
Yeah.
Maybe we take first. They take,
Hmm.
defending the pawn, but then we get behind this pawn again. And
Right.
okay, maybe they push here, but if we're spending enough time moving our king back, it's not gonna be that close. So like we could try to play this out from here. If push, we talked about takes going here. Maybe they push here, but you know,
Hmm.
we can go like here or here. And it's like the knight's here. This pawn is falling,
Yeah, this
right?
looks safe. Yeah.
So that's why I like to bring the king over first, because you're right. If we give white infinite moves, they could still win. They just need a pass pawn to make it through. So they have a pass pawn now, but it's hard to push. But you're right. This is their counterplay. So we have to keep an eye out on like the c4 idea. If we start off like, I don't know, f5 is still probably fine because we always have this resource, but that's why I was saying like maybe they move the king over. So uh I mean, yeah, if we do like nothing, then maybe it gets a little more complicated than it needs to be. I imagine like taking and going here is probably still fine, but at this point I don't even know if we can take this anymore, to be honest, because this pawn might be too strong. But we could go
Ooh.
here, right? And now they're frozen again. So maybe they go here. Um, and they're just trying to get
Mm,
here. But now we can get behind the pawn. And our knight's also stopping them from pushing. So if they go here now, we take and it's defended. Maybe they take here, but like as the position simplifies, I think it's gonna be a bit easier for us. That they have two pawns now, and now their king's not cut off. But like this is throwing in two like completely blank moves, right? And we still have things more or less under control.
should
Um,
we look with the engine?
yeah, we can look at here, let's just go to the final position here. We'll turn the engine on. So this is -2.
Yeah.
Um, this is the move that we came up with, which I think makes sense. And we looked at two different rook moves here. There was yeah, the sacrifice is pretty bad.
Yeah.
But we also looked at rook b2. What else did we look at? We looked at this king move line takes here. Okay, it does say we can take. Well, this is because our king is close enough. We moved our king over. There was this line. So yeah, this doesn't work because knight takes. But we looked at this line. Let's see here. Yeah, knight c7 is the only move now. So when we put two bad moves in, we force ourselves to find an only move situation here. And okay, it's not necessarily that hard to find because clearly we're stopping the pawn and we're also stopping the d pawn. And yeah, like this position is still very much winning for black, but like, okay, well, what have we proved? We proved that if you do nothing moves and let your opponent play whatever they want, then, you know, maybe they still get some counter chances.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, if you play this maybe a little bit more sensibly, it's like, okay, in this position, they're saying c6 is the best move. And okay, this is actually pretty smart because maybe there's a world they sack the exchange here. But I figured we could just go here. The computer disagrees. Here, and if we go here now, there's rook. Wow, rook e3. Okay. Then I figured they have this, but then c7, and it's a draw. But okay, knight d6, and now there's rook e8 is really pretty. But I figured we could just take here.
Yeah.
But now rook d8 is annoying. So yeah, it's you know, that's what happens if your computer's a bot.
Yeah.
So yeah, in this situation, if they just go straight with c6, we have to be extra careful and just bring the rook back, it's saying. Or straight up rook b6. But yeah, I figured like c6 is probably not going to be a very natural move for anyone to make. But I don't know.
I mean, maybe they would just rush to promote.
Maybe. But it's still losing.
And the sacrifice.
But yeah, this is the computer's attempt at complicating things as much as possible. So kudos to them. You know, you gotta respect it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. If they went c6, I think I would have played. Maybe my first instinct is rook b5. Or sorry, rook b6.
Yeah, that's a good move. The computer wants to just come all the way home. My first instinct is rook c2. Because to me, I'm like thinking there's no way this pawn gets through. I'm just gonna collect these pawns.
Right, but then they can promote with the sack, right?
Yeah, they have this line f5.
Right.
And if I go forward, they just defend this pawn. So now my rook's not really getting behind this pawn, so that's kind of annoying. And my follow-up idea was to go here, but now c7. This is the line. So they need rook e8. So yeah, I missed this in the few seconds it took me to look at this. But what else could you do?
Is there a world where they take? Nope.
No,
okay.
because the c pawn's a big issue.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was definitely, this is a good sacrifice to look at. If the knight's holding the pawn back, it's definitely worth looking at this sacrifice. But it just doesn't work because
not here.
We take this pawn in the nick of time. But But yeah, that's why it likes playing rook e3 to save the pawn, but also it's mostly to prevent our rook from getting behind the c pawn. So
Yeah.
um yeah, they have this defense, and now there's not really such a good way. The knight has to come back this way. Um and that allows for this nice rook e8 idea. So cool idea for sure. So yeah, basically they would be winning the knight back, right? Because they would promote and we'd have to sacrifice. So if we take, they have this rook d8 move, and then um okay, it's
Would you
funny.
take on c7?
It's saying take here first.
Oh, interesting.
We have to come back, takes, and then we take on c7. But then we lose this. And this is a rook and pawn endgame where it's a draw. But white has this d pawn. But yeah, we just play rook c3. We cut the king off. We can get behind either pawn. If they go after this pawn, we can play a5. If they go here, we can play something like this. I'm sure is fine. Takes, takes. And okay, they have the pass pawn. I don't know. I feel like white is maybe slightly better, but
At that point, yeah, maybe.
you
But
could
I
spend
would
like
still wish I played it.
you could spend so much time just looking at this and just like figuring out different ways to play, but I think from a human perspective, it's much easier to play with black. There's like a few tricks white has with this, and that's like why I'm advocating for just bringing the king over, because if you get rid of, the tricks, like maybe we get baited by these other pawns with our rook or whatever. But yeah, we start with this and then they do something really passive, right? This was something that we were thinking made sense to prevent us from
That's
getting
what I was
behind.
thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, then here, yeah, king f8, right? And there's just no world that they're ever getting through. So, um, but yeah, if they start with c6, the computer just wants to, like, that same line of reason, just come all the way back, and there's no situation that we're letting this pawn promote rook b8 and we're just catching it. We're just getting straight to their counterplay immediately, like to the source, instead of any of this like roundabout way that I was thinking of. But even in this position, maybe just king f8 immediately. We don't really want to walk into this pin, so that would be pretty bad.
Yeah.
But still a decent move. We give our knight another square to work with. Who knows? I I like the king on f8 better when there's no rook on the e file, but
But there is.
yeah. All right, but yeah, I would say like this in game maybe isn't where I would want to spend most of my focus on. I feel like this game there were a couple other, like we haven't looked at the whole game with the engine yet, so here bishop e7, castles probably makes sense to me. Knight out is also fine. Here it likes castling still. Here takes here, and yeah, I'm not sure, like I'm curious what the attack is here. So okay, it's saying knight b3 instead actually, which is going after this pawn, which the
You
bishop
can't
was
just play
defending.
b6.
Here and then b6, I'm worried about maybe some tactics down the line, but let's see.
Yeah. Oh, true.
Here, just d4 instantly. This is kind of pretty actually.
Oh, yeah. Wow, that is cool.
So let's say we take with the pawn. They just take anyways. So this pawn's
Yeah.
pinned. This is attacked twice. So takes, they can just do knight takes. And
Play bishop b7 here, maybe.
I'm thinking just castles. But
Oh,
now,
okay, true.
now they play knight c6, and that's a double attack. So that's really annoying.
Right.
So
Which is
if
why
we
maybe instead of
play
castle, bishop b7.
here, now
Also
they play
bad.
c4. Yeah, but that's
Wow.
why b6 is not so great because this
b6 is
bishop.
horrible. Okay.
Well, because yeah, these bishops are always just gonna hit like everything, right? But
Yeah.
that relies on them finding this d4 move, which is like really it's a nice move.
Findable.
But the problem is really is this it's part of you're behind in development. So that's why castling is so important. I would advocate for castling. Like this is a good spot to castle. And after this, yeah, maybe castling still, but you're gonna lose a pawn. But it's like kind of hard to explain like the thought process of like, okay, you know, everyone says f6 is terrible, but you should play it here. I think it's like, to me, it's like the rook is opposite your king, and the bishop helps shield is first off. The second off thing is that the pawn is definitely a target, and whenever this rook is pinning that pawn to the king, you're really opening yourself up for some tactics, but also the bishop is not as good of a defender as another pawn is. When you defend with a pawn, there's very few chances that there's going to be some tactic that's going to work out here. And if there is, you know, if they ever have to sacrifice like a piece, at least you're getting a piece just for a pawn, as opposed to like if you take back with a bishop, it's like you're putting the whole piece on the line basically.
Yeah.
And yeah, this d4 push is a really cool idea too, in whatever line we looked at. But with the pawn on f6, it doesn't hit as hard, right? As opposed to like having to take with a piece.
Yeah. And there's no queen check. Some Bishop Star says in chat, like there is no queen a5 check, so playing f6 doesn't run that risk.
Yeah, that is also important. Making sure that when we do push our f pawn, we're not getting like tacticked with checks, and I feel like that's something you're probably a little bit used to with the Vienna Gambit. So okay. But yeah, that's why another reason why in this situation I'm just feeling like castling immediately. Like you brought out the bishop and now you're ready to castle. There's not really a major reason why the knight needs to be out so soon, because it's like I don't think they're really pushing here or like getting into e5 at all. And there's not like there's any checks on this diagonal or anything. But yeah, castling just earlier will help you like not have to deal with any of these tactics. So like this is another chance to do it. I definitely understand why maybe you don't want them to play e5, but that being said, like e5 actually releases tension, because right now there's tension here, right? When they push, they're closing off the center a little bit, and your knight's going to come back. There's going to be pressure here. It's actually really difficult for them to like hold on to this pawn. So
well, what about rook e1?
So okay,
like
I'm saying if we castle now and they play here.
Yeah.
Now we play
I see.
here.
Gotcha. Yeah.
They can play here, like you said. But now,
and then like the bishop can't get out and stuff.
It's a much different dynamic, right? This is a defensive, like kind of a more of a passive rook move, as opposed to like a really aggressive, where it's like your king is still on e8, and here now they take. This trade helps open up the e file, And
Yeah.
this pawn that was on e6 is now a liability that you have to defend. So
Mhm.
I like typically in these sort of like d5 openings with the pawn on e6, like I like when I'm able to push e5 because then my bishop opens up, which is really helpful. So I'm all for e5, like in a ton of cases.
Yeah.
Um, but in this setup for the opening, when we're not castled and their rook is coming, we don't want to keep our king on this file while it's opening up.
Right.
So letting them trade is kind of risky. Um, when like in this situation, we need to consider f6 over moving the bishop because this is actually a weakening move because now the pawn is pinned and this pawn is weak
Mhm.
as well. And so now we're letting our opponent sort of attack us. Already it's actually saying knight takes e5 works. So that's just really
Because
illustrates this isn't even defending it properly. So knight takes, and they can just go f4.
mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, we need to play f6 in this spot, or we need to just castle in this spot. Or even in this spot as well will help us. But okay. Those are just a couple like opening adjustments I'd say that could help us just like fine tune.
Yeah.
So here you pen. It wants to take on e5 already. Um, so this just kind of goes to show like ways that they could really punish us. So here if we take with a knight, wow, they can just sack their queen.
What?
It's pretty brutal.
Why? Oh, because
Um,
oh my god, because knight c6
yeah,
check.
they're gonna play knight c6
Oh my gosh. Wow.
here, and they just take, and now we play our
Wait, but
knight's
we're
hanging
still
on to.
better. Oh no, just wait. Aren't we better
We
here?
so let's say rook
Yeah.
takes, and they've won a pawn.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's that darn e5 pawn that we pushed. Well, it's not so much the pawn pushing is the problem. The problem is we defended with bishop f6. Also, the problem is like, yeah, we haven't castled yet, so we're just a little bit behind. It's like a half move difference. F6 and we're totally fine, and we can castle later. Um, but all right, they didn't find it. Obviously, sacking the queen is pretty tough. Just to win a pawn is.
But
Let's see. So knight
also they're
takes.
castled and I have to
Knight
move, like their
takes.
position's better.
I love that it's saying it wants to sack the queen immediately. This is much
Yeah, Joe,
stronger
look
for
at
them.
this.
It's the same game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're
I see
looking with
that.
an engine.
So takes, they take here the discovery.
Yeah.
Now knight takes, and the difference here, they're not up a pawn, they're up a whole piece.
They're
So the
and
difference
my
is
king is in a corner.
the difference is that here we allow this trade-off. Whereas if they go straight away, then they take this knight with the check. So that's why they don't take with this one. They take with this one because they want to take along the way. It's pretty greedy, as opposed to trading these off, then taking and sacking the queen. So yeah, this would have been a brutal response for sure. That's really sad. You're just losing a piece. So that would have been a really nice tactic. But yeah, luckily you're playing against a human, not the computer.
Right.
But I mean, if you want to say findable, I'd say, it's possible. At least I wouldn't discount anyone. Like when you play chess, you should operate under the assumption that your opponent's going to play and find the best moves. So like if you see it, you should assume they see it, basically.
I
Um,
wouldn't be able to see that queen sack situation.
yeah, here the best move is just castling. You just give up the pawn. But pin, there's, some merit to this, like assuming. But yeah,
Right.
like this is why you don't want to just like you're lining yourself up for tactics. Like your king is begging to get
To get tactic
uh
done.
exactly. Like that's why bishop f6 is not the move. Because it's just really rough to be opposite the rook with the king. So that's why f6 really saves you out a ton for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard to like be able to see that far in advance to know, but just having the rook opposite the king, I think, should be enough to just have some alarm bells next time you do something like this.
Yeah.
So f6 kind of helps save you a lot, but here, this is the missed opportunity. They could have sacked their queen, winning a piece, which would have been a huge flex. Um, but okay, takes. Our knight is hit, so we come back. I'm wondering if we should have gone to e7. Again, trying to just help save our
Get that
e-file
pin
issue.
down. Yeah.
But what else? It likes going to b4 because we're creating a counter threat actually, which makes sense.
Cool. Yeah.
It also likes b6, putting pressure on their knight.
I like that.
Prince, thanks for the sub. Appreciate that.
Oh yeah, yesterday or not yesterday, 2 days ago. Were you there at all? You were there for a second when we were doing the Rubik's Cube thing, right?
Yeah, I saw you were collabing with Rubik's. Shout out to Rubik's, by the way. I got paired with him in the
Yes.
bullet pool, and he flagged me. But luckily, I took
He
everything, so it was
is known for
just a
being
draw.
fast.
He's a speedy guy. He's a Rubik's cube solver. It makes sense. Um,
But
okay,
yeah, Prince was giving bits to the winner every game.
very cool.
That's why I mentioned that, which was nice.
Yeah, this position, this was super passive by them. I don't know why they would ever do that, but it likes bishop f4. Would you look at that? And your best move is to just castle. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's like this, you're just begging to get tacticked on, like you said. So this also would be nice. So you're just making it really hard to defend when you're not castled and the e file's opening up. So basically, like if they play a move like bishop f4, you basically wish that you had pushed f6. Um,
Yeah, I wish.
yeah, but okay, they did not make the most of it. They do win a pawn.
I
It
mean,
was the e
I thought
pawn.
this was pretty good for them.
Yeah, no, I mean it definitely likes white um better. But here, yeah, I like rook fe8.
Hmm.
Um Trading makes sense. This makes sense. Yeah, knight e6 is the move here, right? Just targeting
Hmm.
that bishop. Whenever your opponent makes a move and then you can just like attack that piece, it's like you make them sort of second guess themselves. You make them like question like, okay, why did I just walk into that? Um,
Yeah.
because either they have to go back and admit that okay, they kind of messed up, or they have to let you do what you want, and then they're gonna have to live with those consequences. So, they'd have those double isolated F pawns, kind of ugly.
I
Um,
was definitely looking at knight g4 even here for them. If I went knight e6, I was still looking at knight g4.
we have bishop takes b2.
True.
It's really
You're right.
nice. That's
Hmm.
that's the downside as well of playing knight b5 is that they play here, and now this really hurts the
Yeah.
diagonal. The computer's so harsh. Um, I like c3 a lot. It just makes so much sense. But yeah, it's saying knight g4. And now, if we take, yeah, they trade and then they're gonna skewer us. So that's kind of gross. But here I was thinking like, what if we take Oh, we still get skewered. So it doesn't change anything, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But okay. Yeah, we at least get knight d4 in, which is nice. But okay. Yeah, here this is maybe less than ideal. I was saying rook e6 is a better move, but maybe not.
Peter
Wow.
doesn't like it either. They want it on the C file.
They want rook a8, yeah. But okay, what else? It does like g5. It also likes d4. I do think d4 makes sense. But yeah, it's just, I mean, it's a tough position you're down a pawn. But okay, g5 is interesting because we were looking at this. Okay, apparently just king g7 here.
I would maybe just go back to bishop g7.
Well, we lose the pawn. We'd have to go like
Oh, never mind.
here
Yep.
or here. But then we're just conceding space, sadly. So
What about bishop d6 here instead of the pawn move?
after this, we're allowing knight f6
No. Like
instead of
bishop.
this. Wait,
Um.
I was just looking at different computer lines.
Yeah, I already forgot where we were. Never mind. I take it back. I don't remember exactly what I was thinking. I think what I was saying instead of
We were looking
I
at
don't know. I don't remember.
g5 knight here. We were looking at yeah, the top move is king g7, but we were looking at this, doesn't work to this. We were looking at something like this, and then I was thinking
here. Bishop d6 here is what I was saying.
bishop d6 blunders the fork.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, all good. That's why I was thinking about f5, check king here, but then we just blundered the f pawn, so that's yeah. So yeah, g5 is pretty weakening, but the computer's calling for it, saying it's our best chance to like make some chaos, I guess. But yeah. I guess that's just kind of what happens when like all of their pieces are all up here in our space, basically. That's why I like knight e6, just immediately contest the bishop.
Instead of g5.
Yeah, if we play g5 now, there's this knight g4 move. And now our knight's hanging is also a big problem. So if we take
I can't even go bishop d8 here.
I mean you can. But okay, we're losing the d pawn, so we're getting forked.
Yeah.
Yeah, the knight covers this check, luckily. But it doesn't matter because the bishop's overloaded now. This knight g4 move is really nice. It's enough to dismiss the idea of g5. Like g5 normally would be good because we're removing the defender of a piece that's attacked twice. But g5 is really committal, and it creates a weakness that they can take advantage of with knight g4. So that's a nice move for them in response. Knight g4, and if we take here, they have, okay, just bishop takes piece right away. And that's another thing about this knight move. We were looking at this, what was actually played in the game, because the knight came back, and now they play knight g4 anyways, and it's still, it's a multiple discovery multi-threat move. So really nice by them. Also, I would imagine like when you play a move like knight b5, kind of ask yourself like, okay, what is the purpose here? Like what are we aiming at? So this pawn obviously stops us from going forward, but we have this d4 square, right? That's the only other like logical explanation why you'd go to b5, unless you wanted to pivot to d6, which is also a potential move.
Maybe.
But as soon as they play c3, now we have to like reconsider, like, okay, now they're really questioning the knight. They're like, what was your plan here? And you come back.
Yeah.
You come back to c7 of all squares, which is
So I
literally,
wasn't even acting like I was trying to go to b6.
well, yeah, so it's like here, and eventually they make two pawn moves, and then the knight comes back. So what we've done with like the difference in the position, basically we've just played rook e7, but then we also allowed them to play two moves, like two pawn
Yeah,
moves
just
that
down
are
tempo.
basically like, slowly but surely helping their position. Hi, Luce. Good to see you. So I would just reconsider like when we're really putting a microscope to the game, like a magnifying glass, and trying to figure out like pinpoint areas that we can improve on. I would look at moves like knight b5 and I would just question like what exactly was I thinking, right? Because
Right.
there are some ideas, right? Like we said, d4 and d6, and really try to like ask ourselves like, okay, can they stop us from going to d4, right? And the answer is yes. And another good question, whenever we move a piece, it's like, can they attack our piece? And that also is yes. Like, is this a safe square to go? Can they attack a piece here?
Why did I do that? Sorry, that was an accident.
It's all good.
Okay.
But yeah, like if they attack us, right? What's our plan then, right? Like, okay, clearly I would go to d4 if they just did this immediately. But if they stop us from going where we want to go, then what's the plan? Do I have a backup plan? Do I have a plan B, right? Do I want to go to d6, right? Is that even a safe square to go to? Because it's kind of under attack, right? And then what
Yeah.
happens if they do attack the knight? I need to make sure that my pieces aren't getting trapped. I have to have a plan of where they want to go. So this maybe feels a little short-sighted once you see like the bigger picture. But like in the moment, it's like, yeah, if I could get the knight to d4, then that would be really nice. But the cool thing though is we can, if we have a square that looks nice to go to, we can ask ourselves, is that the only way I could get there? Is there another way I could get there? And you can achieve the same idea with knight e6, and this is with the added bonus, you're attacking the bishop too, which just got
Yeah.
there. So that's kind of nice. The best move here by the computer is still c3. Both knight moves will induce c3, but the difference here is now we can take here if we want to. And this is much worse for them. And it feels like we're making some progress.
It does.
I would say it's better than what ended up happening. I definitely think that you have
Great.
counterplay if, I mean, also the computer's saying it's not even our best move to take. We can play it likes h5, and the h5 is nice considering we were looking at all these knight g4 moves.
Yeah.
So it's like h5 is not a move that I would just immediately think of. But when you're looking at like, okay, I'd love to play g5, but what's the problem with g5? Oh, they play knight g4. It's like, well, can I prevent them from playing knight g4? Yeah, we could play h5. Like that's a nice sneaky little move there. It's multi-leveled. It's like you're thinking much deeper than just like one move threats, right? You're looking at like
Yeah.
a counter to a counter,
Yeah.
right? Which is the counter is knight g4. So how do we counter that? We
4D
play
chess.
h5.
Yep.
Yeah, you can feel the wrinkles on the brain starting to get deeper. But yeah. This game really, I think it was like we were just a little slow to castle, and we played bishop to f6 instead of playing pawn to f6, and like these
Yeah.
little details really kind of compound throughout the game. So it's like, okay, we're down a pawn now. So you're having to fight this uphill battle to come back. Whereas if we just like fine tune the opening a little bit better, then you wouldn't have to like focus the rest of the game trying to play down a pawn. Which is
So
like,
funny because
yeah.
if I was reviewing this on my own, I would never fixate on the bishop f6 move. Like I obviously would have seen that, it was an inaccuracy or whatever the computer said, but I would never put as much emphasis on that sort of positional mistake as you would have,
Yeah, I mean,
as you
even
have.
when we looked at the when we looked at this position, like from the get-go, without the computer even, I was like thinking about castling and also about um, playing f6 here, which like maybe at first like is maybe a little questionable, but then, when you see the resources white has available in their attack, it sort of makes sense. I think
Right.
so, at least. It makes sense to me. But
I mean, it makes
hopefully,
sense once you explained it.
yeah.
It made a lot of
Okay.
sense.
Um, so yeah, the opening is really important because, if you let your opponent, just get like these tactics and they can win some material, then the rest of the game just becomes much more difficult. So, yeah. Here, okay, 96 is the top move. Um, it likes rook d7. I don't really like rook d7. It likes trading rooks and then 96, so that's what you did. Let's look at
Right.
this idea, doubling rooks.
That's
Um,
Magic, thanks.
thank
This
you,
is
Prince.
instructive stuff. I like it. Yeah, this is why I hit up Joe Bruin every time I have a serious game because this is quality coaching.
I feel like I'm getting better just listening.
Honestly, yeah.
That's why we do it.
Because you're not only like, I don't know, like I already said the thing with bishop f6, but you're not only explaining, like you're just picking the right moves to look at. You're not just kind of looking at the ones that the computer said was bad. That's why I like it. Anywho, oh, Uncle Jesse's here. Hello, Uncle Jesse. Let me give her a shout out.
Yes, shout out to Uncle Jesse. Um, yeah, I like to share my knowledge, whatever limited amount I have. But that being said, like I definitely am a fan of reviewing games. Like people can do it on their own, by themselves, with just a chess.com engine or whatever. I mean, you can also review games without an engine and try to find something better on your own. It's just the engine at the end of the day will reveal everything that you missed. And that being said, a coach is really helpful in pinpointing those moments where you can make a more practical sort of decision. Like there's moments where the engine's going to be like, okay, you missed this ridiculous line that no one's ever going to play. Um, and also like you could focus on the wrong moments as well. So it's like that's why I'm kind of putting a bit more emphasis earlier on in the game because I think that's going to save you a lot of trouble later on. So just repeating what I said, the problems early really compound later. But yeah, this is a really just a tough spot to be in after knight here. But you found one of the best lines trading in 96. The main idea is 96, which funnily enough was like also the best move after they just played bishop f4 immediately. But we found our way there, little roundabout,
Yeah.
and Yeah, I do think that you did well at this point, right? To sort of trap their bishop. Like they definitely misplayed this with f4. You sensed it immediately. You find rook d8 immediately, which is the best move by a lot. In fact, like any advantage they had is kind of dismissed now. You've trapped the bishop officially, and they do have this f5, so they're not like losing a piece, but you should essentially be winning the pawn back. So here takes, and now this is an only move, f5. And now here, if there's like takes, they can play, or we could play rook b7. It likes takes, and we just take.
It
And
likes
now,
that?
um,
Oh yeah, in this case, yes.
in
Yeah,
this
yeah. Okay.
case, I'm trying to think of like what else we could do in this spot. Rook b7, it's saying a6 is a move. So let's say they just take immediately. I think this is pretty nice to have for us. Like we're gonna play e5 next, basically. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, this becomes now an equal rook and pawn endgame. So that's much better than being down a pawn. Um, and yeah, a lot of chess is just kind of like adjusting. And your opponent messed up and you capitalized on it immediately. So big mistake here, trapping their bishop, and you did exactly what you needed to do to take advantage of that. And now like they're lucky they have this like one resource, and they're not just completely losing, but they missed it. And now you again taking advantage of that, you find the best move, you get out of the pen, and
And
then
then
we'll never know how the game would have finished out. But that's okay, because you didn't lose, so that's good. Imagine if your opponent found this like queen sacrifice idea. That would have been devastating.
I would cry and resign. Not actually, but you know, that would be like disappointing because like you said, I'm asking to be tacticked when I don't castle like that. Anyways, no, it's not worth dwelling over, but yeah, I understand.
All right, so that
I don't like
was
to I don't like to face the ready, the Fancato, like that stuff is still tricky for me. I have to look over that better.
I don't even know the ready.
I think playing is it knight f3 is technically the ready, right?
I just usually play d4 against the ready, and then it usually transposes into like Queen's Gambit or something like that.
Hmm.
Knight f3.
Yeah, and then I play d4, d5 into that. My bad.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's funny, whenever I'm playing Bullet, I like to try knight c6. This is a terrible move because they can just play d4.
Yeah,
Um, because against d4, I would never play knight f6, or sorry, knight
yeah,
c6, because, well, the knight can get bullied. But I think a bigger issue is against d4 openings, for whatever reason, the c pawns are very important to be involved. So when the
yeah.
knight plays to c6, you're just blocking the c pawn. The only reason why I preface that I would play knight c6 and bullet is because if they're playing really quickly, like a lot of people will just go for your fianchetto or something. But my knight's supporting e5. I can play e5 and now prevents d4, and we're kind of transitioning to like a more familiar structure that I like to play with e4, e5.
Hmm.
But if I'm playing maybe a longer time control game, I basically treat knight f3 as if it's a d4 opening. So I'll do my same sort of like e6, knight f6, d5, like you mentioned. I think these are
Yeah.
all pretty much the same. But yeah, those are literally the top three moves.
Would you still be down to review the last game?
Yeah,
Okay.
there's either one or
Awesome.
two more, right?
I think there's one more and it's very long.
So this was a
I'm gonna
French.
I'm gonna go grab some water. I'll be right back.
I
But Joe is here.
Yeah, hi Joe. I think we looked at this one last time, if I'm not mistaken.
We want to look before I
wait,
go.
maybe.
Which one? I think it.
Actually, you might have the
It's the
same
one
game
that's a
twice.
ton of moves.
Okay, so it's probably not this one. It's probably the last one. But that game looks like we might have it listed twice, but okay. No, this game was even shorter. So maybe
I
you're missing.
definitely have the long one
No, we
like
looked at
in
this one
put into the
too.
engine.
I definitely remember seeing this game, so
Let me go to my like game collection.
yeah, here they I think mistakenly resigned, but
Yeah, but okay, I still liked how I played there, so.
I thought you were using the restroom. Wait,
No, I'm going to get water, but I also want to make sure that I
that's true.
have the long. Wait, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you? I wanted to make sure that I have the super long game in. I'm almost positive that I.
How long is super long?
62 moves.
Yeah,
I'm going to look at my saved games.
I don't have it in this collection, so you'll have to send it to me.
Yeah, give me a moment to look.
Why do I feel like two of these games are duplicated?
It's. I don't think that's possible because we looked over 3 last time, I think, or maybe 4. How do I go to my Joe? Can you, not you, Joe Bruin. How do I go to my here?
So your game, this game
I'm
5,
looking for.
game 5 and game 2, I think are the same. Yeah,
I see what you're saying.
at least in this list.
Okay, that means that potentially I did not save my analysis, which would be really, really annoying. Why are
The
you
name
laughing?
pen chewing up.
Oh yeah, from my last tournament. Okay, well, what I could do is add it now, or we can reconvene another time.
I'm down to do it
Okay.
now.
So I have to make the moves here. Hold on. Add game. Where is it? Is there a way I can do it in the classroom? Or should I just do it and send it to you?
I think you should send me the PGN and I can add it. I don't know if you have access to add games to this, but
Okay, then. I played. Okay, this is gonna take me a minute. I'm sorry. So can you help me?
Yeah.
Wait,
Alright.
I'm playing black, right?
You are playing black.
Seven.
There's no label on it.
Okay, go ahead.
E4. E6.
Oh.
Bishop F4.
wait, should I just put the moves in?
I mean, I could read it out to you and you could do it.
I just figured if you had it already written down somewhere, you could just copy paste it. But if not, then we could just go over it.
No, I thought that I did, but I guess I don't.
I have it here, and I could read it out to you, and then
Yeah,
I can also.
let me
Yeah,
just do a
okay.
new game. And yeah, you can start. So, okay, she has white or black?
she's on black.
Okay,
All right, let me know when you're ready for it.
ready.
D4, E6, Bishop F4, D5, E3, Knight F6, Knight F3, C5, C3, Knight C6, Knight D2.
Knight B, D2, I'm assuming.
She just has Knight D2.
That's okay.
Uh,
I'm
C
sure.
takes D4,
Uh-huh.
E takes D4,
Yep.
Bishop E7, BD3, castles, Knight E5, Rook E8, H4, Knight E4, Knight takes E4, D takes E4, Bishop takes E4, Knight takes E5, Bishop takes E5, Bishop F6, Bishop F4, E5, D takes E5, Queen takes D7, check.
Oh, wait, queen takes D1. Check, sorry.
Okay.
Rook
Rook
takes.
takes D1. Yeah, she has her handwriting is a little bit there. So you had Rook takes D1.
I love that you're reading it to me.
Hey, this is the Joe Lab. This is what the
The
people want to
Joe
see.
Lab. Wow.
The Joe Laboration.
Love it.
All right.
Okay.
You had white Rook takes D1. Now it's Bishop G4,
Okay.
F3.
This is getting interesting. Okay.
Bishop takes E4.
E5, I think.
I think that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely it.
That's assuming.
Bishop takes E5. So
Now
Rook takes E5.
this. This is exciting.
Castles.
Uh-huh.
Rook takes E4.
Oh my goodness.
F takes G4.
Are you still putting the moves in?
F takes
Yeah.
G4. Oh my
Yeah.
word.
Rook takes G4.
Back now, so I can hear what you're saying.
D7.
Oh, you weren't here the whole time. Okay, sorry. Wait, what's the move here?
Rook D7.
Rook D7. I like that move a lot. Okay.
F6.
Uh-huh.
Rook takes B7.
Yeah.
Rook takes H4.
Uh-huh.
Rook E1.
I like that move.
Rook G4.
Uh-huh.
Rook 1 E7.
Okay, she specified that time. So that's good.
Yeah. Rook G5.
So,
Rook G5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, I remember watching this game and walking in and out of the tournament hall. Like I'd walk in, I'd look at the position, I'd walk out and I'd run it on my phone and I'd come back in and I'd see the position again. I did this for like literally 3 hours straight.
and you'd put it in your. Oh yeah.
B4.
This is a crazy game.
Rook D8.
A lot to unpack here.
Rook takes A7.
Uh-huh.
Rook D1 check. King F2.
Oh.
H6.
Uh-huh.
A4.
Uh-huh.
Rook D2 check.
Yep.
King E3. Rook takes G2.
Which one?
Uh,
Let's have Silva.
I think this one
Wait,
was the G.
That's a big problem that I did that. Didn't write that.
No, this one was definitely the one that's already on the G file because I remember watching and saying that you could have had a draw here.
Ooh.
You might have been able to force a draw after he played B5. Yeah, that's definitely it because I remember saying that you could force a draw here.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
Rook B2.
Wow. Okay, I'm already. You mean okay? Okay, I see it.
C4.
C4.
Rook B3 check. King D3.
King D4 probably.
It said G4.
Rook G4
Oh,
check.
Rook G4. Yeah. Okay. And now.
King C3. King C5.
Yeah.
Rook C3.
Okay.
B6.
Wait. Oh, sorry. C3.
Rook 3 takes C4. Wait. You skip on
You
my
said
bad.
B6.
B6. Yeah, now B6.
Rook G takes.
Now Sabrina takes over.
Okay, so they play B6. I wrote Rook 3 takes C4. So
3 takes. Okay.
Yep. King B5.
Uh-huh.
Rook B4.
Yep.
King C6.
Yep.
Rook FE4. Rook. Did I write Rook FE4?
G4. That's kind of a weird move, no? I don't know.
Oh, it could be a C. Just kidding, it's C4.
Rook C4 check makes more
Yes.
sense. But
Okay,
you said
King
from
D5.
F or from G? Or from B?
It's definitely the G. Yeah.
Okay.
And then King D5.
King D5.
Oh wait, but in the analysis you're doing, it's in a. Do you see how it's like in the hypothetical?
Yeah, sorry.
It started a different line.
I do that all the time, and this is all my
it's all
fault.
good.
I'm really
No,
sorry.
it's all good. We have it.
Okay. So, do you want to erase? Like, how do you get rid of that?
Oh, I mean, I can just delete them. It's not a big deal.
It's not like showing up for me though.
It looks clear to me.
Oh, okay. So
Oh,
what?
No, it's
What
back.
move
You're
are we
right.
on? No, so I
move
think what you have to
37.
do is like delete.
From here.
Do you want me to delete it?
No, I'd rather just
Just play it out. Okay. Okay.
this is
King
fine.
E5, Rook D E4, or sorry, Rook.
Yeah. No, just rook D4. Yeah.
King C6,
Uh-huh.
Rook B C4 check. King B5, Rook B4 check. King C6, Rook B C4 check again. King B7,
Uh-huh.
H5.
Wow.
I know. A5. I
It's
know.
a
It's
lot
on
of
A5.
Yeah.
Rook D6. Rook A8. Rook.
King H7.
Wait, that can't be right.
King H7. After rook A8, you play King
Wait,
H7.
no. Something is wrong here then because I wrote. I wrote for my move Rook D8 check. So maybe they did Rook E8. No, even then.
Oh, you're
what?
thinking it's King A8 and then rook D8 check. And then King B7.
Yes. I think this is what happened.
And then
And then King B7 and then H5.
H4.
Wait, I went H5.
You played H4.
Where am I? Hold on.
We are on move 44.
King B7, Rook D6.
Oh, instead of H5. h5, h4. So probably king a8, rook d8 check, king b7, and then rook back to d6.
Yes.
So you
I
guys
think, I
repeat.
guess so.
Okay. And then
King a6, I think is what happened after. King
okay,
a6.
king a6,
Rook, and then I have rook g4.
rook g4.
Yeah, I remember not liking that. Okay.
I see it.
Then rook a d7,
Uh-huh.
and then rook 6 d4. I just moved it back up.
Yeah.
And then b7,
Uh-huh.
rook b4,
Uh-huh.
rook d8 check,
Now king h7.
king h7,
And then
they queen, and then
You
rook takes b8,
they take.
h4. Cannot believe we figured that out. Okay, rook b3,
b3, okay.
king h6, king b4,
King probably b5.
or sorry, well, there's, hold on, king b4, king h6 I said, right?
Uh-huh.
King b4.
Okay.
How is it?
Just
Wait, hold on.
just assume
I
that
see
you
what
wrote
you're
it
saying.
wrong. It's probably
Okay,
king
king b5.
b5.
Let's
It's
assume
probably,
king b5.
yeah.
Rook d4. A6.
Uh-huh.
G5. A7. Rook d8. King b7.
Okay, so it's probably king b6.
B6. Probably, yes. I don't like that I wrote that down wrong twice. Okay. G4. Or sorry, are you still like on a different move, right?
I'm just recreating it. All right. King
Okay,
b7.
King b7, g4 I go.
Okay.
And then they queen.
You take.
I take.
King takes.
And
now it's 3 pawns versus 2 rooks.
Yes.
H3.
Instead of it could have been 1. At h3, rook e2, king g5. Oh, sorry, yeah, king g5.
Uh-huh.
Rook b5 check. It's almost over.
Rook v5. You play f5.
King h4.
No, king h4. Okay.
Rook f5.
Okay, and you play
King g3.
king g3.
Rook takes f6. h2.
h2.
And then rook h6, and I resign.
Okay. Interesting.
Yes. I'm really sorry about all the notation errors.
No, don't be sorry.
When you're like sitting there for hours, you know how it is. Like,
yeah, no, I mean,
brain gets scrambled.
Bring me a chess player that has never made a notation error, and I'll show you a unicorn.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go back from the start, and probably should have not had the engine on, but okay. So we've got a London system here. You've got the black pieces. Now, there was a moment where you played knight e4, and just immediately this is just like free pawn, right?
Yeah.
So
that was
I
think I did it because I was afraid of something. I just have to remember what it was. Like I don't remember exactly what it was.
Maybe you were thinking you get this pawn. but you're losing this here is the problem.
Hmm.
So you trade first and then taking, and there's like you're in big trouble here, I think. So
I truly don't think I was going for the pawn on h4. Honestly, I think I was afraid of something, and I just don't remember what the threat was.
yeah, I think this is just kind of a like generally tough spot to be in when they get their knight in here. Like maybe we can bring the knight backwards instead, maybe. But even still, though, I'm like really nervous to be honest. Maybe we can play.
Hmm.
Well, who knows? This is just yeah. I wish I would have better advice. Like I honestly hate playing against d4.
Against the
Like
London. Yeah,
um
and d4 in general is what you meant, right?
yeah. I think like here maybe it's better to go d6. Try to contest their bishop and try to fight for the e5 square. So like here, if they go in now, we have this, and they might double their knights, but maybe we can bring our knight back and we can push our f pawn.
I know when you're playing the London that people really like love getting their knight on e5. It's like the best thing that could happen for you in the London. One of the best.
Yeah, that's why I figured like moves like this help try to control e5, and then we can bring our knight back, and the f pawn is free to help. So I think like rook e8 probably not good here, because I don't think it's really helping us in any way. Um,
If anything, it gives me squares to go to, but like in case of a scary attack on the H file.
yeah, that's true. Um, yeah, you get really creative here. This is a
Yeah.
good sort of counterattack, I'd say, but it gets really tricky because like we can't just take because we're losing and our back rank is really weak. So you find this idea trading
Oh yeah,
queens
this
and
one.
then attacking here, and then you take. So this is really creative for sure. Um,
It got creative, but I remember when I was looking at the engine after, it technically didn't really work. But my opponent didn't see it.
Can I ask
yeah,
a query? Perhaps?
Yeah, what?
I think it was move 13, 14 when you played e5.
here.
Yeah.
Why not just instead take h4? What was the
This
threat
is
there?
really scary. Queen h5,
The queen with the
Mm,
bishop.
devastating
okay,
move.
didn't see that originally.
All good. But yeah, it's very scary. Like a lot of times, even if you can get away with just taking a pawn, if it's like opening up lines in front of your king, it's usually not worth the hassle.
Fair. Yeah.
But yeah, I was definitely looking at that pawn too. It's very scary to take though, especially like after queen h5, we're basically just dead lost because this is just a
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
what
multi
if
attack.
I mean, in that scenario, they play king h5. You can't really play f5.
Um,
No,
well,
because then they'll. I mean, I don't know. I don't. Oh, there. Okay.
Goodbye.
I don't know. It's probably not worth it, but
That, yeah.
who knows?
I would never play. I would never play that.
It's all good. It's worth looking at, you know. Um, but yeah, it's way too much risk. It's not worth it. Okay, so e5, I like it, and you're very creative here, finding this. You're helping your back rank. You're developing with the tempo. Probably, let's see.
My opponent, they like made a face. They when I made that.
Yeah,
move.
it's a nice little bailout. So takes. Now they don't want to take because you take with the fork, so that's really nice. So they
Mhm.
castle. And now here you take here. And now they should most definitely just take your rook
I
and allow
know
this
this
trade.
was. Yeah.
Because it's a rook and pawn in game where they're up a pawn. So they should just do that. They take here now, which immediately just gives you the pawn back. So now it's equal material,
Mhm.
actually.
Mhm.
But they said, all right, I'll take the really strong rooks.
Mhm.
F6, and now they take on B7. Maybe slightly better was just immediately going for the double, but takes. Now they go for the double, which is pretty smart. Here, so when they go here, you're, already conceding. There's no way to stop them doubling on the 7th. So
Yeah.
you might as well just defend the G pawn. But then once they do double, it's not just the G pawn they're attacking, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
It's also the A pawn. So here, you should definitely save the A pawn. There's no better move than just A5. But
Yeah.
yeah, we play here. So I'm not really sure if this helps us at all, but definitely they should take on A7 now. Just, winning a pawn. But they don't do that, so that's kind of weird. And now you should definitely save the A pawn again.
Nope.
Nope. So, okay, we're going for counterplay, which I don't hate. They just take a pawn, which makes sense. Check. Now you make a flight square because you don't want to get mated, so that makes sense. And now, yeah, check. We take here. Now this is kind of an unfortunate decision here. So we have to consider like the checks. Also hello to Jenny, good to see you. And Zoomja. And Physic, of course. Okay, so tell me why this is not good. What can white do now?
Why it's not good or why the other rook is better?
Why this one doesn't work?
Because if they take on G7, I lose my rook and they have one. Yeah. Yeah.
GG.
I didn't see this during the game.
It's okay. I didn't see it either. It was the computer because we were putting the moves in with the engine on. But yeah, after this, the
Oh, I
eval
didn't
bar
see
shot
that.
up.
I like clearly now see it, even
Yeah.
without computer. But
Yeah. No, I mean, if someone's like, "Hey, this position's losing. Can you tell me why?" That helps tremendously. They start looking at things that maybe they wouldn't have otherwise.
right.
Um,
But other D rook takes it would have been fine, right?
yeah, and here we're looking at maybe like these sort of checks, I guess. I don't know. Or like rook here, and then maybe that's I don't know. The king can like run. Definitely this is like much better for white because these rooks are much stronger and these pawns are much more advanced. But it's not simple because this king's really exposed and it's probably still drawing somehow. So I don't know. Rook and pawn in games are always just really tricky. So yeah, you take, it's a 50-50. You take the wrong way. Of course, they don't capitalize on it, right? They just push and now like here, this is I think where Joe is mentioning it's like a perpetual, right?
Yeah.
So here you could just take the draw, which I think would be reasonable to do because again, these rooks are so dominant and these pawns are very scary. Even though it's like
I definitely
completely
would have if I saw it.
I think
But I didn't.
if I'm looking at this position, just material alone, it's dead even, right? I know it's a rook and pawn in game. I'm trying to think to myself, like, what are the odds that I'm gonna win this game? Like, what do I need to win? And it's like, okay, maybe I find some sort of rook ladder mate or whatever. That's like the only winning condition, really. Because if we're looking at the pawn race, it's like white's clearly much ahead in that race. So it's like we don't really want to go into that race because that's a race that we're gonna likely lose. So our only chance really is that this king is exposed. So it's like we have all of these checks. So here you're just getting behind the pawn, but we're kind of loosening up the net that we had on the king. So now the king has more squares to run to. And you're actually opening up, the door for the king to now aid the pawns. So the pawns were already looking pretty good. And now the king around as well. it's like we're giving these checks, we're even winning a pawn, but the problem is this king has worked its way all the way from, you know, over here to now it's like actually helping the pawns promote. So when we move the rook over and we give these checks now, we're actually just helping them go to where they want to go. Whereas if we just leave the rook here, this king really has nowhere to go. So pawn push, and they're just hoping that they can continue pushing. And it's our
Yeah.
job to like not let them do that. So yeah, this is just a standard sort of like perpetual that we can find here. Because
Yeah.
this rook is never going to be left hanging, and this king will never be able to move to the right. So their best bet is to just, you know, maybe they could try to find some shelter in our pawns, but they're eventually forced back out. So, you know, if they keep going over here, it's like we still have a perpetual. Basically, this rook and like the constraints of the board is just cut the king off to like this box, not even this box, but like
Yeah.
there's no way out essentially. And like worst case, maybe they get themselves mated. I don't know. That'd be kind of crazy. If that even
Yeah.
works, I don't know. Who knows?
I mean, not. Yeah.
But you were maybe optimistic, or you were thinking you could win the pawns, so you go, you know, behind the pawns. You know,
Like I said, if I saw the draw, I would have taken it. But at this point right here, I was like, wait, maybe I can come up with something, you know, potentially winning
So there
or
was
drawable.
something. And when you're double like this, there's a world where you can take on a4. But now you can't do it anymore. So now this is really tough. So
Yeah.
here we should consider taking. And this actually might be winning for us now.
After taking.
Yeah, worst case, they queen and we sack a rook.
Yeah.
Well,
And then we
really,
have 3 pawns versus the rook.
really the worst case is they somehow protect the pawn and we can't sack the rook for it. So they could queen. So that's always like the big risk. But yeah, you can always if the king is really far away from like where you're queening and you have like 2 pawns and your king can help out, then even just 1 pawn actually, you should be able to escort the pawn to promotion as long as their king is far away and your king is able to be involved. Your pawn should be good enough to draw it because the rook will eventually have to sack for the pawn. Now, when you have 2 pawns or even 3 pawns, then it's much better for you. So taking here, if they trade down and now they're trying to maybe like they go here or something, we just get behind the pawn and we could just sack here. And
Can I tell you something
what's up?
crazy? I didn't know that 3 pawns versus a rook would have won here.
I don't think that's crazy. Also, what's even crazier is in a lot of cases even 2 pawns is winning.
Yeah. Like I didn't even consider,
It's okay.
you know, 10 moves ago if I can get it, you know, 3 pawns versus 1 rook. I didn't even think about that.
Let's put the engine to use here and test if this even makes sense. So rook takes, it's saying is a draw equal. Rook takes, king here. We mentioned sacking here. It's saying this is winning for white. So this is not good for us.
Why? Because they can cut our king off.
They get the king back there too.
Yeah.
I guess the king is able to get back. But this is equal. So we just have to start pushing our pawns now. That's actually just
I
one
probably
move
would have
difference.
waited too.
So the king, we don't want to sack where we're helping the king.
Yeah.
We sack in the last moment. But this is still a draw. There's only two moves for us, h4 or g5. And here they have to start running the king back immediately. Here there's only one move that draws, it's g5.
Wow.
So if we go here, then the rook can catch us. We're too slow, so that's why we need the g pawn.
Which, mm-hmm.
And here they continue running the king. I wonder if there's a world where if it was like the a pawn promoting or something.
I mean, like if I take. Oh, interesting.
this is
That's even
still-
better for me here.
No, this is still winning for white.
Wait, what? Can you explain to me why if king is on b8, I'm winning, but if a king
No, it's not winning.
is
It's
done,
it's
or
because
sorry, draw.
in the other line we just looked at, it's because you had already pushed h5. That's why. And this line, we play h5 here.
oh, because the pawn would have been okay. Gotcha. That makes sense.
Now let's compare that with that other line I was just looking at. Here. So we have h5 included. We trade. Let's just say they shuffle. Takes, rook here, queen. Okay, it's still a draw. I'm trying to make a condition for black to win, but no,
Maybe
I would definitely.
e6?
I feel like the pawns are much better than the rook, but it's a draw, so the king just runs back. Here, okay, so g5. The king keeps going. King keeps going. It's because their pawns are so slow. Oh, this loses actually. We cut the rook off. So here, now rook e1.
Oh wow.
Now we need to bring the king up. So if we go here, this is losing to king e4. So the king is in time to catch everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the king cannot be
My
far
opponent
enough.
even said after they were like, I don't know how to play, rook versus 3 pawns, so I'm really happy this worked out for me. So.
But yeah, we needed a take on a4. So now a5, this is winning for white. And I don't think there's a much better opportunity for us to hold this, unfortunately. But you did try 3 pawns versus 2 rooks.
I made a mistake there too. I think moving my king up.
Well, the only other thing that's kind of funny is you could have just self-mated.
No.
Yeah. I didn't want to.
Well, that's why you played. I mean, here are your options, right? This pawn can't move. If this pawn moves, you get mated.
Oh, at h2.
So h2 is just with check. You have to go here
Right.
now. And now, I mean, like,
Yeah.
mean-
I guess I didn't have many choices anyway.
no, you didn't. So that's why king g3 makes sense. It's your best move.
Okay.
And then yeah, here it's too bad, I guess. But yeah, maybe you go here, maybe you go here, and they can just pin you. Check you maybe, and eventually they're gonna pile up on this pawn, and you can't really save it. So
I mean, there you could have had a.
you could have gone for a
Don't-
stalemate. You're right.
No, if he stacked them, you could have gone h1, and it would have been a stalemate there.
Yeah, if we go here,
Yeah.
if they take the pawn, it's stalemate.
Which surely he could have seen, or he could have missed it. You never know.
What's up? Shout out to Dore Chess.
I don't think they would have missed it.
No, I'm saying you're pumped. You never know.
Yeah, you could have played this one out. I think once they take, I mean, there's always stalemate chances. Always.
I always play it out like in my first game when I was losing by like 9 points material. I was like, no, there's a world, a timeline where my opponent just asks for a draw or like walks into a stalemate or blunders everything. So you really never know.
Yeah, here they missed this chance. But yeah, here's where, we have like basically a guaranteed draw.
Especially
then-
after all of the stuff I was, going through a few moves prior, I would have loved to find that draw.
So here they just need to go with the pawn or with the king. They do this now, which is a draw again. Or maybe not a draw, but definitely it likes what you did here. So here now
For
we
a
go
moment, I thought there was a draw here too.
Oh, this is weird. Yeah, this is a tough spot. You have to play rook b c4 check, which I don't really know if I could understand or explain this to you, or I mean, not that I can't explain it to you. It's just that I don't understand it myself. Oh, it just
Yeah,
wants to
I get
take
what
on
you mean.
a4.
Same idea as before.
But why is this so different? Oh, just king b.
Because I'm not defending the G file, right? That's
Oh,
why.
That's true. As opposed to check here takes king
Yeah.
here. So in the other line, so I guess we can keep both rooks. If we go this way, takes king b8, and we defend this pawn. Oh, they just take g7 again. This is so brutal.
Wow.
It's just such a brutal tactic.
Well, this way I can start running my pawns there.
Yeah. Your pawns would be disconnected though, which really sucks, but still you could try to race your king down with the pawns maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, here this is the only winning move. Okay, king d5 and they still maybe have a slight edge, but it's much closer to a draw now. Yeah, it's funny in this situation you do go with this rook. Takes
What?
king here, and this
Check?
is a draw now.
What? How?
Because
Same idea, like with rook a8 or a4.
So here, so rook d8 check, king
Oh,
here,
okay.
and now we run the pawns again. And
Wow.
yeah, if they queen, it's just honestly, I'm impressed that white can hold this to a draw because in my head this was winning, but I guess the king just makes a beeline down the diagonal to straight for the pawns. Who knows? Yo. How's Rove talking without moving his mouth? That's funny. Okay. Anyways. Yeah, kind of a tough end game. We had some drawing chances, but it all goes out the window when we play h5. We needed to take the a-pawn. Now that there's an a-pawn, so basically it's like we can let one pawn queen, but we can't let two pawns queen. That's the difference. So we needed to take that a-pawn because now it cost us. So now they have both the rooks instead of maybe just trading one off. But yeah, here I might consider this.
Yeah.
Just like, who knows?
Even there, like.
Yeah, they still get behind the pawn. Maybe we can do this. Maybe we have some hope. I don't know. But
So,
dude, I don't know.
instead of this, they could have played Rook H5.
This is tough though. This is sad. Hey, this is a draw. G2.
Wait, what?
Because you could make a queen.
Wait, go back.
There's hope. There's hope to be had. Yeah, I think here you should have played F5. But like, okay, I think you were worried they were just gonna double on the pawn. But I think it gives us chances to still push through. So
There's no mate in 20 if I went F5.
we were looking at, I was looking at this line here.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like still really tough, but yeah, this is a draw here. I don't know. They don't have any checks. They don't have like an easy way to pile up. So you're 2 squares away. Like I figured Rook H5 could be a move, but it blunders. It's a draw
Yeah.
again.
Yes.
So we play H2 anyways. Here we play King H1. Oh, the stalemate. The stalemate tricks. That's beautiful. And we're just threatening to just push. So, yeah, they can't take. If they play here, we just play here. Now we can queen. If they take, we'd love to take and make a new queen, but we're pinned. So we just go here, but they can't stop us anymore. We could even play King H1. This is a funny stalemate trick too. Here, here, here. You know, if they ever come back, we come back. So funny stuff.
It's crazy.
So that's why you play on, but no, they
Totally lost. So
yeah, here they play here. So we're losing that pawn anyways. We should have maybe make them work for a little more. But
yeah.
it's okay. I wouldn't focus too much on this part. I would say like taking the A pawn was helpful. I would say the perpetual here is helpful. Earlier on in the game, there was definitely a lot of the like knight E4. I think was definitely not the move. I would say bishop to D6 is probably a bit more.
So when you go bishop D6, usually they drop back to bishop G3, and that makes for a bit of an awkward like queen babysitting situation. Because you really shouldn't take their bishop.
No, I don't think we should take. But I think what happened in the game? Did they ever go H5? Yeah, H4. So if we go like here and they drop back, now they're much less likely to push the H pawn. Because as soon as they push the H pawn, then we can take, and they have to take with the F pawn, right?
Is your mic dead too?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can't hear me. Sorry.
You can't hear yourself?
Okay, Joe's mic's still working.
Hi, Finna. How's it going?
It's blinking. What does that mean?
The green? I don't know.
I think it's dead.
I can hear you. Do you have a different mic for Discord? Can you hear me?
I'm checking. I can hear you. Just want to make sure. Okay, yeah. So it went back to the default because the mics are dead, I think.
But I can hear you, so the mic on Discord is different than I guess.
On my computer.
So maybe just switch to that source on OBS. and then they can hear
Yeah.
you again.
Weird, it's muted. It's not a. Oh,
Okay, do I? Yeah, like,
that one's good.
yeah, but do you see how it's not here? Like, you see how it's not even look.
Oh,
Okay.
weird.
Okay, I will temporarily put it on my the computer's mic. It should be okay. All right, sorry.
No,
Let's
you're
carry
good.
on.
So yeah, when they go back, they're much less likely to push the H pawn and just start attacking you because they want you to take and they take with the H pawn. But all right. I would say otherwise, like definitely we need to consider like knight d7, right? And just immediately contest the knight and like free up our f pawn. There's some scary ideas like this, but yeah, g6 and there's like a line where they sacrifice. F takes, but the computer hates this because of knight f6.
I wouldn't fall for that.
You come back.
I would have definitely been able to calculate.
You wouldn't
And-
fall
and-
for what?
I wouldn't fall for, like, if they did, bishop takes g6, I wouldn't take back.
No, but it's the best move. Oh, you mean after sack? It's also not the best move, but takes. Yeah, you're saying you wouldn't take back here. You would find knight f6.
I would find something else, I think.
Yeah, I guess also what's interesting is, well, yeah, they're threatening mate and they're threatening a perpetual if we take. So knight f6 is the only move that defends and attacks, which is nice. So they'd have to find a new home for the queen. But then, so let's say they go here. Now we take, but now it's not mate or perpetual because we have this.
Mm-hmm.
We have that covered. Even if we didn't have it covered, we'd have it covered. But
Yeah, because otherwise, oh, never mind. Okay.
but there's a lot of lines where we don't have this knight f6 resource, and sacking is good for them. But here, okay, let's say they just go back. Now we can just take, or I was gonna say f6 is an idea, but that weakens the e pawn. They just take here, and then queen takes is annoying. So probably we just trade. D takes. But yeah, now here we can play like f6.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, the point is, if we bring this knight back, we're freeing up the f pawn, which is I think like a helpful defensive resource, and we're just trying to trade knights, I think. So we're kind of tight on squares, like we're a little cramped. So trades are typically good, but it's like how you trade is also really important. Like we don't want to take immediately, or maybe we do, but
A few moves ago, I believe it was showing knight takes e5 as a move. Yeah, right here.
yeah, this is the third best move, but it does like knight d7, top choice.
Yeah.
And yeah, here likes queen b6. Some counterplay, maybe. But yeah, like these openings, I get like destroyed a lot of times when it's like this bishop has nowhere to go, and it looks just like everything's working in white's favor, right? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's just really tough. You have to find some like really precise active moves. So yeah, bishop d6 is a move, queen b6 is a move. I was thinking knight d7 is a move, but now it just likes to sacrifice. So it's pretty brutal. And it's largely because the f pawn's weak now because of rook e8. Um, what's also funny is if you look at my games, I play Rook E8 like all the time, but the difference is that typically I have like my pawn is still here, and I play the knight B to D7. And that way when I play Rook E8, the knight can come back to F8.
Yeah, you've told me about this. Not in this line at all, but yeah.
There's like a Roy Lopez line where that's really common for white to do that maneuver.
Mhm.
Um, okay, so yeah, I think definitely like giving up the pawn, we probably had something better. And then yeah, here they really dropped the ball. They let you just play E5, which is really nice. So instead, what they could have done is like move the queen out.
Yeah.
Um, they could have taken on F6 it likes, interestingly, and then gone for this queen trade maybe. Here, and they can castle long, and they're just up a pawn. But yeah, you found some good chances here at E5. Honestly, like I was a little shocked to see how well this worked out for you. So in this position, the best move is rook to D5, just defending this pawn. So that's kind of smart. But let's look at how they mess this up, because I'm honestly a little curious myself as well. So takes, castles. Oh, I guess we already looked at this. Yeah, they just need to take here. So this was kind of a missed
Although I
opportunity
have
for
to
them.
say, if it was this position versus the other one, it might have pulled through.
I don't know.
Like instead of one rook versus two.
Well, the other position you had equal pawns. This position you're just down a pawn. It was equal pawns with two rooks. This is down a pawn with one rook.
What ended up happening?
What? What were you were saying you were comparing the two end games, right? You were saying
I'm comparing what actually happened to this that line we just looked at.
yeah, and what was your
I was saying that in this scenario,
you
maybe like we could have played with less accuracy, and I could have maybe pulled through a draw or win.
okay,
Instead of
I think there's some logic to that. It's like if you're losing, what you want is to complicate things and make things a little bit more chaotic because that increases the likelihood of mistakes being made, right? That's good for you if you're behind because you need your opponent to mess up to catch up, basically. But I think I would disagree with you though,
okay,
because this
sure.
position is simpler. It's a lot easier for white to convert, I think. Well, mainly the biggest point is that the material advantage. Like in this line, you're just down a pawn, right? So you have more of a hill to climb back. Whereas in the line played in the game, you equalize. But okay, their rooks are really strong, but your rook is well placed here to defend. You should have just pushed this a pawn.
I didn't save it.
That's okay. Um, so now it's like you're down a pawn, but with two rooks on the board. So in this situation, I would say like yeah, if you're down a pawn, you'd rather have two rooks on the board than one rook because there's more material on the board. So that gives you better fighting chances. Also, like your rooks can coordinate together to mount some sort of comeback. They can fight back, and you know you have much better drawing chances with two rooks than one rook. I think at least in this situation, it's probably true. But yeah, the other situation, you're down a pawn with just one rook left. I think that um, it's not as chaotic, right? You don't have the rooks to coordinate with each other, so it's harder to come back, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, who knows what could have happened? Like you give up the pawn anyways, and now there's two rooks. You still have good drawing chances. Um, but yeah, you tried stopping the pawns and it was a tough battle because okay, you actually won a pawn here. It's still a draw, sort of. Um, but then you didn't take the a pawn. So, yeah. Ultimately, I think that like again, if I could like focus on the opening, I would say that it was this 94 move is just kind of giving up the pawn. So, we definitely have a better move here. So, that's why we're
Yeah.
looking at like um knight d7 or bishop d6. Knight d7 is a bad move here though because they sack. So it's tough. Takes and they have this and they have this and
Yeah.
life is just kind of tough. So that's why yeah, the rook e8 move I don't think helped us because if we had like a knight on d7, maybe let's compare. I don't know if I can reconstruct this same sort of opening. Do they have a pawn on c? No, they played c5. Wait, we played c5. They did play c3. Let's put the knight here. I mean, they had this in the game here, and yeah, bishop here, castles, maybe like h4, right? Now if we go here, oh, it was the other knight we wanted to move back, huh? Maybe let's put some random moves out. Now if I bring this knight back, they don't. Oh, it's the same sack. They do the same thing.
Yeah.
Wait, I guess I put the knight here, but that's dumb because maybe we go knight here. Now they don't have the same idea, right? So now we can play this knight, but this doesn't make sense because we just had this knight there. So I guess, well, maybe I was trying to go for this. They sack on f7 now. This is ridiculous.
My gosh.
They just take anyways. They don't care. Oh, bishop c7. Oh, this is so
Wow.
brutal. Queen f3 is nice though. So if they didn't have queen f3, then then all right, they can't sack on us now. Ha, we got them there. Just kidding. Okay. Anyways, no, I honestly this is like the weakest part of my game is these kind of openings. But I do think that like this queen b6 idea makes a lot of sense, right? We're trying to create some counterplay on the queen side. There's a lot of situations where we can just try to launch our queen side pawns. Obviously, like we don't want to just play b5 because it's really weakening this knight and that pawn would be free, but there's lines where we can start attacking on the queen side. Queen b6 is along that same sort of theme.
Yeah.
Because if this pawn drops, then like these pawns get really weak. So yeah, I really like I have a hard time with these openings because it just seems like white has all the play and white just has like sacrifices galore and the H pawn and the queen's coming out. Like it all
I'm
looks
just
really fun for white
Yeah.
and black
That's-
has a hard time. So I'm wondering if like for me personally, I don't know. I play it a little differently. Like I like the bishop on d6 for sure. Um, Typically I don't play c5 too quickly. Usually I'll play like knight bd7 and then I can go for c5 later, or even like if they're never playing c4 or trading, and it's like it feels impossible to push the e pawn, a lot of times I'll play b6 and try to fianchetto, or sometimes the bishop comes out to a6, and I try to trade bishops that way. And also like b6, if you can play c5 with that, that helps you to maybe take back with the pawn. But yeah, I mean I've played this way too. c5 and then knight on c6 is also just a very natural development. So yeah, here like bishop d6 is one of the top recommendations. You trade and then develop the bishop, which makes sense because like we don't like having to waste the tempo, so that's very natural. But the computer's okay with this, and this is actually like we're happy to move the bishop twice because now they have less of a grip over e5. So it's kind of worth having the pawn still here to sort of try to lure them into taking, because when we take them, we're just, you know, helping them maintain control over e5.
I would have been way more comfortable in a position like that, where the pawn was still on c5 and I had my bishop out. Like,
Yeah,
'cause
if we
that's
did this.
a little closer to a French position.
Yeah. And like in my mind, we can still try to bring the bishop back, queen here, and then go for like e5 if they let us.
Yeah.
But yeah, here. Also, it's tough if you try to fianchetto now, you do something like this. This is always an issue that we have to be worried about. So that's also kind of annoying. But yeah, here we go here.
And then
I usually go
just
like here. And then there's like a world where they can take here, but this actually is kind of scary because it's like we can trap them, but the computer finds this c7 square.
yeah.
So yeah, otherwise I don't know. There's also like this move is also really annoying a lot of times, but we have this discovery on them, so all right. Yeah, the openings are always really like fine-tuned. I think it's like there's so much to look at, all these different sidelines and variations. But
Yeah.
definitely like being active, trying to trade off this bishop, I think. Like, but not just like trading, but like at least contesting the squares. So I feel like we give them e5, and then we didn't really have a good plan here to combat this. So the rook over, I think, is a little bit weakening because we weren't really planning on like rerouting a knight to f8.
I really regret the rook e8 move. It was so like unnecessary.
Yeah, it's a little painful. But it's like the knight e4 is, I think, a simple like correction that we can make, right? We don't want to just give up a pawn, really. We fought back and we got the pawn back, but that doesn't really justify the move. So I think here, even just bishop d7, at least there's something there. Bishop d7, you can bring the rook over. Queen's still coming to b6 is like a common idea. It's liking this now, for example. Also, like, yeah, trading here I don't think helped you, really. Yeah, it seemed like you're pretty happy to trade a lot, And then this was definitely a step in the wrong direction for them. So this allowed for this e5 shenanigans. And this just like, I feel like it was a miracle you got out of this. I guess the miracle was that they didn't take your rook here. They just
They
gave you
also
this right back.
this was the leading player in our section. Like they had the highest grade.
Nice. Yeah, definitely. This is a tough decision. I think you should not be okay with this endgame. Basically.
Yes, you're right.
So, I think we should probably leave the bishop on the board.
I'm really trying to understand why I did that.
It worked out. I mean, it was like, okay, if they take your rook, like if you look
Yeah,
at
but I don't make moves.
if you
Thank
look
you
at this
not.
trade on its own, like isolated from everything else that's going on, you're getting this bishop for, you're trading these 4 pieces, which is a fair trade, but you're isolating that pawn, which is kind of like net positive for you.
Right.
But if you look at the bigger picture with everything included, it's like you're going into a rook and pawn endgame where you're down a pawn. So you're just gambling on like your chances in that endgame. But I'm just saying, like in the long run, that's gonna hurt you more often. But like that's really what it comes down to is it was a gamble, right? And in this case, it actually worked out because they let you back in, so the gamble paid off. But I just think like in the long run, it's probably not good. So it's kind of like, yeah, putting it in poker terms, someone like bets big on the turn and you're like chasing a flush or a straight or something. And you're like, well, I have a couple outs, right? So, maybe I call, but then, nothing hits on the river and then you're like kind of screwed. But in this case, you got bailed out, so they, gave you the pawn back. So it's like you hit on the river, basically. So it's good.
But I do not play chess how I play poker.
Well, sometimes I have to like advocate for like that is a legitimate strategy in certain cases, right?
Yeah, I agree.
So
This
it's
one,
like
not really.
in this case, it's like you're gonna be down a pawn either way.
But I should be down a pawn a different way, not in
You
that
could be down
position
a
that we're
pawn
in.
where you still have the bishop and the rook,
Yeah.
but in this situation, you're down a pawn with just 1 rook left.
Right.
So you have like fewer outs, technically, but yeah, they messed up here, so that's good. But that doesn't justify like the decision, right? So yeah, in this situation, I would just save the bishop, but it's like you're still just playing down a pawn. So it's really like the main issue ultimately is knight e4 because that's where you lose the pawn originally. So that's like the move I'm trying to target here. Is like we can't just give up a pawn that easily out of the opening. We have to find a different move. But yeah,
I bluffed and I fold.
it's tough. It's a tough spot because I keep looking at like this knight d7 trying to trade, but it's just like we're just getting demolished here. So it's brutal. It's a brutal spot to be in. That's why I'm looking even earlier. It's like we could have played like bishop d6, which is like a similar complaint or like move that I pointed out in another game. You played bishop e7 when you could have played bishop maybe it wasn't those same squares, but do you know what I'm talking about? There was another game where I had that same comment
About the bishop on, like, to trade?
Yeah, maybe it was the Joko piano one.
Yes, it was. It was definitely that one.
Where is
I
it?
remember exactly what you're talking about. To sort of like diffuse the threat on F3.
Yeah, it was this game. You went here
Yeah.
instead of here.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I think you should be fighting for squares more, as opposed to being a little passive. So it's all comes back to like controlling the center, basically. So
Yeah.
your opponent controls more of the center than you do. And yeah, this square's a little passive. That's that's a big thing, I think. Um, these sort of like D4, D5 openings that I'm like saying that I'm struggling with, it's like
Mhm.
a lot of it has to do with the fact that it just feels like white has a lot more control. They have a lot more options. So
Yeah.
that's why it's even more important that we at least try to maintain some of the control. So like leaving the C pawn, putting the bishop on D6. Um, something like Queen B6 also is like we give one tempo on a pawn at least. That's like maybe a distraction for like one move where maybe they defend, but it's like that
Yeah.
one move difference is like a move where they're defending instead of attacking, right? And so we can sort of build some momentum off of that. It slows down their attack. It at least distracts them for a moment.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I wish I had maybe more to help you with on this game in particular, but it's just um
No, I think you talked through a lot of
it's a lot of
the
little things.
phases of the games, but what I feel like I keep hearing you say, like, I'm making these moves in the opening that are, with the exception of that one really pretty Vienna game I played, I feel like you say that there's like certain moves in the opening that kind of just ruin the position for me, and then from there I'm playing to compensate. I just wish that wasn't the case as often, so that I could look and work on my middle game a bit more.
Yeah, it's you don't want to get out of the opening down a pawn. So it's like if I see, okay, we're losing a pawn here and there, it's like that just needs to get addressed before you move on to like, okay, time to work on, the middle game, the end game, the tactics and stuff like that. So, um, yeah, the openings where I feel like, you're up a pawn out of the opening, it's like, okay, that's great. And then your conversion is, you know, the next important thing. So, yeah, it's like if you're coaching someone that's like, missing that there's like free pieces or blundering like simple stuff like that, it's like that has to be the highest priority that they look at. Because then like nothing
Yeah.
else matters. Like maybe they get a king and queen mate, 10 times out of 10, but it's like if you can't get to that position, then it's not going to help you. So, um, your tactics can be really good, and that can maybe help you come back from like certain situations, but you don't want to continually like be struggling out of the opening. So, but I mean, you mentioned this was the strongest opponent in the section as well. So it's like sometimes there's not so much you could do against certain players, but the best thing you can do is give yourself the best chance, best opportunity, and giving up the pawn that easily, I think is just kind of tough. But it's also like, okay, we were looking at that spot, and it's like it's still tough, right? It's like you had to play other moves earlier to like give yourself a better fighting chance. So ultimately, I would say the takeaway from this game in particular is like just try to better fight for the squares in the center. It's like your bishop to e7 versus d6 is one instance. Trading, I think, didn't help you. It helped them. I think rook e8 wasn't so helpful. Like you could have brought out the bishop
Yeah.
instead, which like still maybe doesn't really help the bishop that much, but it's like, okay, it kind of frees up the square for your rook, right? Like there's other moves that we could consider.
Right.
And they all make sense when you look at it from like development point of view, right? Rook e8, knight e4, these are not development moves. There's
Yeah.
definitely better moves out there. Like taking on d4 also, like I know it helps us save a tempo, but it doesn't help us control the position, right? Like we go from
Right.
like we have this pawn and the pawn's controlling some squares to okay, we don't have the pawn anymore, but okay, we can bring the bishop out and not have to worry about taking back again. But it's like that doesn't actually help us control. Like same, I think
Yeah.
I mentioned the same thing with the bishop, right? If we count the number of squares the bishop can go to, it's the same
Two.
from here versus on f8. But
Hmm.
if we go here, we have the same diagonal, but we're also attacking and controlling this diagonal. So
Yeah. When you put it like that, counting the squares, that's helpful. I feel like that'll stick in my head.
yeah. So chess, it's all about control, like who controls what squares, and it's like not all squares are created equal either. It's the ones in the middle that are the most important. So the center
Yeah.
control, like whoever has that, they get to do whatever they want, basically. And that's also like why material is important because the more material you have, the more control you have as well. And it's not just like the pieces, it's where the pieces are in relation to everything else. So it's like this bishop versus this bishop. Like this bishop is slightly better because,
Yeah.
you know, you're out of the way, you're off the back rank, you're still influencing this diagonal, even though the bishop isn't opened up to those squares. But the bishop here is definitely a much more valuable piece because you're creating problems for them, right? Like if we look at what they do in this position, they just develop their bishop, right? If we go here, they can't do that same move. They have to adjust their plans to you. They have to
Right.
react because you're creating a threat actually. You're attacking a piece. And guess what? If they take, you take and you're happy, right? You're helping. Now you can actually play e5 if you wanted to. Whereas you didn't have that option before. Obviously, we talked about them just bringing the bishop back. But now we're
But even
saying
so,
like
yeah.
yeah, castles, you know, they're a move behind. They're not even thinking about playing h4 anymore, right? Which was like part of their
Mhm.
whole attack. So we need to create these moves where it's like we're really testing our opponent, making life a little bit more difficult for them, right? Like when we
Yeah.
take here, it's pretty easy. They know how to, they're just gonna take back, right? This is not a challenging move. When we play
Right.
here, this is not a challenging move, right? Um, and yeah, if they take, like, we're happy with that because now they're not controlling e5 as much. Like, that's the whole point of playing c5. We play
Yeah, that's ideal.
c5, yeah, we play c5 so that they would take us, not because we want to take them. That's not helping us. Um, so yeah, I think putting it under this context of like we're fighting for control is really like a game changer for the openings because the more passive you are, the more you give up space, the more they can just do whatever they want, and then you're like finding yourself in this tricky spot now where you're like, oh geez, I don't have that many moves, right? Like every move it seems like I'm conceding something and I'm just like gonna lose. So then you find this, you know, 94 idea where like, okay, well, I lose a pawn, but maybe like something it's like you don't want to be in that spot. So there's like five different moves here in the opening where it's like we could have contested them a little bit stronger and given ourselves a better chance.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. How do you feel?
I feel fine. I'm puzzled at why like I make more passive or like defensive moves over the board as opposed to online. Because I feel like in so many other situations, live games online, I would go for the bishop trade on the dark square. In the Italian, in this situation, like in general, just I don't know why I make different decisions. I mean, I can take a guess as to why, but yeah, I feel fine.
Yeah, I mean, it could also just be like these games. It could be an isolated thing, like, and also, the good thing is like you're more aware of it now. So, and there's a ton of games where like I'll play Bishop E7 and I'll feel like Bishop E7 is like a better move. I feel like there's a lot of times in the Roy Lopez where I'll just
Yeah.
play Bishop E7. Like in an Italian with Bishop C4, I'm playing Bishop C5 every time. That's the
You're
Joko piano.
uh-huh.
But one more square, the Roy Lopez, it's a whole different opening. It's a very different game. So Bishop C5 right away, there's some drawbacks to this. Honestly, Roy Lopez is another opening that I'm not super familiar with. Like, it's not that I'm not familiar, but I'm not as well versed as opposed to like the Italian.
Yeah, that's what Joe plays.
The Roy.
Yeah.
I'm a Roy Lopez player.
Yeah, Roy Lopez is a very strong opening. It's a classic for a reason. Um, but yeah, there's times where so like here I play A6. Typically they just go back. And now in this situation, knight f6 is typically what I play. And now here they can just castle. And I think the main line is to take, but I'd like never take. The second move the computer's saying is bishop e7. And I know there's like a very big difference between bishop e7 versus something like bishop c5, which is much more common in like the Italian. And one of the main reasons why the computer's saying c3 here, this is a very common move, and it's to give the bishop space, but also we're fighting for these squares, right?
Yeah.
But if the bishop is on c5, even though this is definitely like a more active square, much more aggressive, right? If we count the squares, it's controlling more, it's opposite the king. But in this particular opening, this is like a free tempo on us, basically. So the bishop is actually better on e7. So, I don't want you to feel bad, like, oh, why am I playing passive? Why am I, not going aggressive or whatever? It's like, it's really dependent on the opening in a lot of situations. And the opening can be like so tricky for that, but it's like, okay, maybe in the Roy Lopez, I just remember to put the bishop on e7, and in the London or Joko piano, I can be a little bit more aggressive. So a lot of it
That's
comes
so
down
much
to
work
like,
to remember when when it's passive and when it's essential for the
yeah,
bishop to go there.
yeah. I think what ends up happening with me is that when I'm aggressive and I immediately get like punished for it, like, okay, my piece that I put is now getting attacked and I have to move it again. That really adds up from the opening because it's like, okay, I have to move the piece again. Um, that's a move where my opponent is like opening and developing with tempo on me, and a move that I'm defending, as opposed to like, okay, I make a move, they make a move, and now I can like continue developing and doing what I want to do. Um,
Mhm.
when that happens to you enough times, it just kind of like drills itself. And like ideally, you recognize that, okay, this is kind of a pattern that's like not beneficial for me.
Yeah.
But it's also interesting to talk about like moving the piece multiple times. Like the Roy Lopez, this bishop moves a lot, and yet it's like by design. So I don't really.
Mhm.
I mean, I guess you could argue that maybe a6 and b4 or b5 is not that helpful for black's development, but there's a lot of cases where like the bishop comes to b7.
Yeah, I don't see how that's bad development for black
Well,
at all.
yeah, I guess this is where I could be a bit more knowledgeable on Roy Lopez theory, but I think like in general, like you wouldn't start the game with A6, B5, right? Like those are not the most helpful. Whereas like C3 is pretty helpful in playing like D4 and the bishop coming back and but yeah, like here in this situation after castles, like yeah, if you let the computer think a bit, it'll be contemplating between like taking on E4 versus bishop E7. Like I've been pretty familiar with just playing bishop E7 here,
Yeah.
but I'm like part of me really wants to learn to just take and
How complicated can it really get there?
oh my goodness. I
I
mean,
was kind of baiting you, honestly.
so there's rook e1 and there's d4. And honestly, I don't really know d4 so well, but I know
E4?
d d4.
Why
There's
is that a
this
line?
move, bishop back to b3. Um, it's important that we play d5, I think. But for example, if we just take this, knight takes, pawn takes, this is a fork. So
Oh,
we need to play d5 basically to prevent the bishop from coming in. And now they just take on e5. And they've restored the balance.
yeah, I see how this gets messy really fast, actually.
So there's also like knight takes, but I'm used to people playing like rook e1 and I still play d5. Computer hates this now actually because the move d3 and this is a problem. So what do you need actually here? I don't even know. So you need to play it likes knight c5 or knight f6.
Yeah, I was
Here,
looking at knight c5 here.
so bishop takes, d takes, and now they do knight takes. We need to do something. So probably bishop e7.
Hmm.
And yeah, this is like, okay, bishop e7 is the passive square, right? But this is very important to block the e file. You could argue bishop e6 so that we could play bishop d6, but now we're a little bit slower from castling. So
True.
they're saying there's this move queen h5, and what's really crazy here, they have knight takes, and the point is that
Oh, yeah.
we're not actually
Well,
defending castle and they
yeah.
take. So yeah, here bishop e7, they still like this takes, and now there's queen
Why?
takes here.
Oh, yeah.
It's all about
That's cool.
pens. It's like we're slow from castling. That's why bishop e7 is really helpful. Now here we play knight e6, the bishop e3, and now we can finally castle. Anyways.
Joe, do you see these often with the Roy Lopez, all the pins?
So
No,
never
Roy
mind.
Lopez. Oh, you're talking to him.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't take on e4. I just play bishop e7. I'm like, you know.
Would you agree that the Roy Lopez is all about pins?
Yeah, I think so.
Well,
It's definitely complex, and I don't know. I've gone through a bunch of the lines. So a lot of them I could definitely see being more pin based.
this is it's more so like if we take the e pawn and they put the rook on the e file and we haven't castled yet, it's very similar to the game that we looked at earlier, where you pushed e5. Was it this one? Yeah. This is actually kind of a dangerous move that you're making because they're already castled and you're not. So they just, it starts with the tempo here. This is we were highlighting the importance of f6 in this one.
Yeah.
You play bishop f6, which is like, it seems pretty innocent enough. You're just defending a pawn, but this is like, I feel like, it's reading plus 1.4, but like some of the lines we looked at were just ridiculous, right?
Mhm.
Like it's crazy how much it can snowball from here. So we
Yeah.
were looking at knight here, and yeah, bishop
And that's
here.
it.
This is already knight takes. Like this is winning a piece for white already. But even if they don't do this sacrifice, they could still just take here. They still have this sacrifice,
They
which is
can
kind of
sack the
crazy.
queen.
But
Ridiculous.
but okay, even if we're not looking at sacking the queen, what do they do in the game? Here, takes. Yeah, they develop with the tempo and like you had to give up the bishop pair, right? To like help them develop with a tempo. And after all of that, like
They move
we're
back.
still losing the pawn,
Yeah.
right? So it's like ultimately the difference here is that we did not castle and they castled and they played the rook on e1 and we see the e file open up. So we look back at the Roy Lopez position, it's like yeah, we saw okay, knight takes, rook e1, d5, and if we're not careful and we play like bishop e6 instead of bishop e7, like we're like delaying our castling even further. They get that crazy queen h5, like knight takes f7 anyways tactics, right? It's like if you're not castled by like one move shy, it's like your opponent can just really take advantage of that. Like it's crazy that one tempo can mean so much. Like putting the bishop here instead of the bishop here, or putting the bishop, somewhere else instead of on the e file.
Yeah.
So that's why like understanding openings is really helpful because we were just looking at a Roy Lopez and we're looking at this position and there's a ton of parallels, right? When the rook comes here, we were just talking about like okay, in the Roy Lopez, I know that bishop e7 is a better line than putting the bishop on c5. Well, in this
Hmm.
situation, you have the bishop on e7. You go here. Well, it's like even though this is not even close to Roy Lopez game, this could be somewhat similar in the fact that okay, there's no e pawn. They played rook e1. I haven't castled yet, so I know that if I don't have this helping defend the e file, then there's probably going to be some tactics that are going to cost me. So f6 is going to help in this spot.
Yeah.
Um, Keeping the bishop here is going to help, right? Because like basically, if my opponent, this was like the first thing I noticed, even with the computer off. I was like, this move just feels weird. And okay, it helps a lot when the computer just gives a big orange question mark. So I'm not trying to like toot my own horn or anything, but
Hmm.
definitely like if you have the white pieces here and your opponent like this pawn goes from not pinned to pinned, and this definitely needs to like have some alarm bells. Like okay, maybe I can take advantage of this somehow. And there were lines where we're looking at like going after this pawn now as well. There's lines where they can play
Yeah.
bishop to
Six isn't really
f4.
playable.
Yeah, this can really uh, snowball into some nasty tactics. So okay. Anyways, I feel like
I've
I've
never. No, like there's these games. I feel like they're so etched in my brain. I would like to think I'm not gonna forget what I learned.
well, that's also why over the board I think is really helpful for people trying to improve. Like you could play online as much as you want, but like you go through those games so quickly and there's like barely that much time to think about certain positions, but um if you really dive deep into a game, if you stare at like a position long enough, you'll start to see things like really open up. Like that's why classical I think is so cool is because you have that extra time. Even classical time controls sometimes don't feel like enough time.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, that's why there's always a clock. You're forced to move at some point. But yeah, chess is a beautiful thing, and hopefully you did learn some things, and that's another reason why I'd advocate for not like drawing so early is because it's a lot of times it's worth the experience, even if you do end up losing. It's gonna be really helpful for you in the long run.
definitely. This makes me just look forward to hopefully streaming my next tournament
Are you registered
so
yet,
that I
or
can kind of. No, not yet. I'm probably gonna do that early May so that I can work out plans for a few other things, but I'm excited. I also need to make sure with the tournament directors in advance that I could stream it.
yeah, that's important.
I feel like it'll be interesting to see how long I spend on certain moves.
Yeah, we were just mainly talking about the chess today, but you mentioned the time management is obviously a big part of it, and I feel like that's like the next level of like coaching basically. It's like or just like the skill of chess. It's like you really need to nail down, the openings, the tactics, the end games, like all that chess based stuff first. And then once you actually start playing, it's like, okay, now there's a whole another factor of like the clock and the time control is like another thing to worry about, all of that on top of that. So um that's why, like, to start off, I typically focus on, the position in the chess, and I'm like, okay, you made a move in time pressure, like that's forgivable, like that's fine. Like I often am saying I would rather you lose on time in a winning position than win on time in a losing position. Um, but then it circles back to the point we were making of like ultimately in the end your rating determines or is determined by the result. So it's like at some point you have to win games, right? So
Yeah,
if you're flagging all the time, that's obviously not going to cut it. So, but I think it's a lot easier to get down the basics of chess first, and then worry about like the speed, the time control. Shout out to Katarina, the
huge
huge raid.
raid.
We were just reviewing games with Sabrina's Tea, so if you guys want to go check her out, she was just playing in this over the board tournament a couple weeks ago, I think, and we finished looking at all these games. There were six of them, and
Yeah.
lots to learn from. Uh, are you gonna keep stream? I feel like I'm kind of. We just finished all the games, so I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to do.
Oh, um, well, I still have one more thing I was gonna do for the stream, but I'm gonna take a break right now.
Okay.
So I will technically be streaming still, but if you're gonna end, you should rate somebody else, I guess.
It's all good, Katarina. I really appreciate it. I hope you had a good stream. It's good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Shout out to Katarina if you guys want to go check her out. Another chess streamer. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I should raid you or
Yeah, I don't think you should
no.
because, well, because I'll be gone for like probably 15 minutes. I'm gonna have some food and then I have one more thing I want to do before I end my stream.
Um, so you'll end your stream and then you'll go back live?
No, I'm not gonna end it. I'm just
No,
gonna put
just
a little screen up.
all right. Maybe I'll stay on then
Okay. Play
and
some
figure out.
bullet. What are you working on lately with chess?
That's true. I got my blitz and my bullet to 2300, and then I've just kind of stalled out. So maybe rapid
Hmm.
next, but I don't know if I'm in the mood. Um,
To play chess at all, or?
uh, it's not that I've been playing a ton of bullet, but I've been playing a lot of poker off stream.
I went through that phase last summer. I cannot afford that phase again right now. But when I will, like I would love to play. But you can also play for no money, but like, that changes how like you play and stuff. So
Where do you play for no money?
you could play for like I forget what it's called. Well, also Poker Stars moved. That's a whole thing. That's a whole other thing. Like they moved to FanDuel, I think.
I have no idea.
Do you not play on Poker Stars or?
No. I play
So yeah,
I play on the site that Botez got us that free roll or whatever.
Oh, yeah, maybe I should. Is it GG Poker?
I think it's Club WPT Gold.
Oh yeah, yeah, that sounds right. Maybe I should check that out. You could play for free rolls, but you could also play for like fake money that you win through like mini tournaments. You can wager points and stuff.
That sounds fun.
At least on some other sites. I don't know about the one that you're using.
There's also Dice Chess, which is kind of like poker.
I love Dice Chess. That's probably part of what I'm gonna do later, actually.
Cool. Yeah, I've never played it, but it's always entertaining to watch. There's a bunch of streamers that do it.
We should play. If you're free, like, later whenever I'm about to do it, I can message you and we could play. But or just another time, whatever
Maybe.
works. But
There's also Chess
fun.
Arena. Have you seen that?
I've been meaning to check that out. I don't really know what that's all about though. What is that?
Botez Live is streaming it right now.
Wait, I want to check it out.
Basically, it's like Fortnite, but for chess pieces.
So it looks like
Interesting.
Because it's a battle royale, right?
Yeah.
And like they're on a massive map that's like there's a storm, so it's like
Playing my game.
the space is dwindling down, and
Wow.
it's just last king standing wins. So
I want to check that out. That's really cool.
yeah,
You've played?
I have played actually. I saw Alex was streaming it with viewers like last week, so that was the first time I downloaded it and played. So maybe I could.
Thanks for giving that a shout out. I'm gonna do that. I want to check it out. Battle Royale chess.
Yeah, it was pretty fun, and it's fun to watch too. So it's also completely free, which is great. But yeah, maybe if Alex is still playing it up, maybe I'll join. Physic, like, yeah, I've played Physic. Did Physic checkmate me one time? I think he did. Yeah, we were.
Me and Physic, you're talking about my mod? Like,
Yes.
yeah, we're like on a similar level, I think. Chess-wise?
Oh, she's playing GeoGuessr now. I love GeoGuessr too.
Yeah, I love GeoGuessr. Okay, I am gonna head
Take
out,
your break, yeah.
take a quick break so I can get back to this later.
Yeah,
But
sounds good.
thanks for the suggestion. And also thank you so much for reviewing the games with me. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
anytime. And thanks, Joe, for helping.
The pleasure is all mine. Thank you, Joe.
All right, I guess that concludes the Joe Lab. All right,
The Joe Lab.
have a good
Oh,
dinner.
Conclusion of today's Joe elaboration.
Joe Lab.
All right, until
I will
next
say,
time.
Joe, real quick, have you ever watched Avatar: The Last Airbender?
Of course.
Dude, you before were giving Uncle Iroh, when you were just giving some inspirational speech, it was bringing tears to my eyes.
Wow.
And I fully forgot to acknowledge that, but I will find a clip and I will send it to you, and I will show you what I meant.
There was a lot of generational speeches.
Yeah, you were cooking.
Turn into like some sort of Yoda.
I think
Uncle Iroh.
that's definitely the highest compliment I could receive. So thank you very much. Yeah, Uncle Iroh is my favorite character.
Dude.
Oh wow.
Wait, are you watching the movie? Or are you waiting until it's released?
No, I haven't seen any I mean, I, I've tried watching like Legend of Korra as well, and I'm like, it's not as good. So,
Hmm.
but
I don't know.
I know some people are big fans of that too, but I just for me it's like just the original Avatar is like so good.
Dude, then you'll like the new movie that unfortunately just got leaked.
Okay,
Yeah, the entire movie just got leaked, and apparently it's like incredible. But I'm waiting until they officially release it to watch it.
that's good. I know they made like a live action Avatar that was like really bad, and I
Yeah.
avoided watching that. I knew it wouldn't be good, so I didn't know. I guess I heard about the new one they're coming out. I didn't know they leaked it, but yeah, if it's good, I'll watch it.
Dude, it seems like it'll be incredible. But I
Nice.
digress.
But yeah, thank you for that. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, I will let you know if I decide to do that tournament.
Cool. Yeah. Best of luck.
Okay. Thank you.
Have a good dinner.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right. See you.
Dude, Discord is so laggy for me. It's not letting me leave the call. So I'm like, I feel bad talking. Okay, but she left the call, so it's fine. We should probably end the shared chat as well. Um, Also, a large part of me just wants to leave and raid as well because I also need to eat dinner. But yeah, this is crazy. Discord is so laggy for me when I'm streaming, I think, is the problem. But I probably just need to upgrade my RAM. I don't know what's wrong with my computer. But yeah, definitely very annoying because I use Discord so much. Okay. Anyhow. Should I continue playing? Or... Also, I kind of want to test out my music. But I'm a little nervous because I'm on Restream instead of streaming straight to Twitch. Um, no, I'm gonna end. We're gonna just raid. We're gonna raid. Maybe we'll raid Houseline. All right, guys. Let's go show Matt some love and support. He's obviously amazing. Thank you, Zoomja. What's up, love? Nalando, good to see you, dude. You saw the new Avatar? That's awesome. I'll have to check it out. All right, you all are amazing. I had a lot of fun. And yeah, I'll probably stream again. Obviously, this weekend we have the last weekend of CCL. So we have the lower division finals. So that should be Saturday. Otherwise, I don't know when my next stream will be. But I should probably get back to just grinding chess. We'll do another chess session. Probably work on my rapid. And yeah, I'll see you guys when I see you. So take care of yourselves. Have a good one. Thanks all. Show Matt some love and support, and I'll see you all over there. Take care. Bye.